There are days when we feel tired and energy drained even after a good night's sleep. Fatigue and apathy may have a wide variety of reasons that differ for all people. Even a small solar storm 93 million miles away from the Earth can make your neurons work weaker. Studies have revealed that solar storms are so massive that they can desynchronize our biological clock and cause excessive sleepiness and laziness. That's because electromagnetic activity generated by the disturbance of the sun influences the pineal glands in our brains. Although this gland is very tiny, it plays the role of a big boss in your endocrine system. The pineal gland regulates many vital functions in the human body. One of its key responsibilities is to collect information about the exterior lighting and release melatonin. This hormone helps us relax and go to sleep. Abnormal electromagnetic activities cause excessive production of melatonin, which can result in fatigue and sleepiness even in the middle of the day. But don't rush to put on a handmade tinfoil hat. Luckily, we have some universal tips that you can try at home to reboot your energy levels. No worries, you don't have to buy any expensive special equipment. All you need is your own body and 2 minutes of your precious time. Place all fingers of both your hands together except for your thumbs. Check whether the second joints of each finger are aligned up. Apply gentle pressure by squeezing the fingers together. Once you put the joint over the joint and bone on bone. Don't stop using force and keep pressing for 1 minute. At some point, you may feel changes in your sinuses, which are the hollow spaces behind your eyes, cheekbones, and in your forehead. You may feel a gradual release of pressure in this area, and your nose may even begin to leak. If you try this exercise with someone else, you'll probably notice that the symptoms are different for different people. After 1 minute, release your fingers and relax your arms completely. Well, can you feel any changes in your body? Some of you may hear a slight ringing sound in the ears, experience dripping from the eustachian tubes, or think that the area around your cheekbones and forehead became lighter. You can use this trick anytime during the day when you feel the need to recharge your battery and restore your inner peace. You can exercise even in the middle of a school test, first date with your crush, or during a stressful business meeting. No one's gonna know, it'll be our secret. This refreshing effect appears thanks to our wise and complicated anatomy. Reflexology works so well because the nervous system in your hands is directly interconnected with your head, brain, and sinuses. Hands are rich in particular pressure points that can be very helpful when you need an emergency tool to release pain and reboot your brain. When you simulate one of these reflexology points, neurotransmitters in your brain inevitably react. It means that you can trick your brain and make it tell the body to feel good and enthusiastic. And it's absolutely free, if you know the right button, of course. So let's dive into the world of superpowers hidden in your hands and explore some of the major points. But if you're currently pregnant, be careful and get your doctor's approval before working with these points. Reflexology might stimulate blood pressure changes in your body and cause an unnecessary hormonal response. One of the points is located over here on your anterior forearm. Its name is Naiguan, or pericardium 6, because it's part of the so-called pericardium channel that stretches inside the arm from the armpit area up to the middle finger. You can find the Naiguan point between the tendons by measuring 4 fingers below your wrist. If you can't see the area between the tendons clearly, clench your fist. Tension in your arm will make the tendons more obvious. Now, open your fist, relax the hand, and massage this depression once the point is detected. Apply gentle pressure for 4 to 5 seconds. Do this exercise equally on both hands and see if you feel any difference. You can also massage the entire area afterwards to relax the arm if necessary. During this exercise, you should start feeling relaxation that can spread all through the inside of the arm and across into the inside of the chest. If you don't feel any difference, don't get upset and just try again later. Acupuncture masters work with this point to help people feel more energized and focused, ease an upset stomach and headaches, and help release discomfort in the arms and chest. Some say it's also good for reducing anxiety and travel sickness. Acupressure works by balancing the body's energy flows. These techniques work better when you're completely relaxed. If you're performing this exercise on someone else, you may want to ask them to lie down and let them relax completely. There's another magical pressure point nearby called Zhongzhou. It can help ease neck tension, temporal headaches, and shoulder and upper back pain. This point is usually pretty easy to detect. It's located behind the knuckles in the groove shaped by the tendons of the ring and little fingers. Apply firm pressure to this depression for 4 to 5 seconds. You should feel pleasant flows of relaxation in the arms and cervical spine. Here's another magical button that is very helpful when experiencing anxiety or headache. Find this pressure point in the webbing between your thumb and index finger. Use your index finger and thumb to apply firm pressure to the webbing between your other hand's thumb and index finger. Slowly and gently massage the point for 4 to 5 seconds and then change hands. If you still feel drained after stimulating all the mentioned pressure points, it's time to look around. Chances are that the weather is to blame for your fatigue. If you're in a warm car outdoors on a sweltering day or in a hot classroom, it's pretty natural to feel tired and sleepy. Although we know that heat makes us tired, not many know why exactly. First of all, when it's hot, your body begins to send fluid and blood to the surface of your body to cool down. This process spends some of your body's resources, which can leave you feeling tired. Secondly, keep in mind that dehydration always causes sleepiness and fatigue. When it's hot, your body quickly loses salt and fluid in the form of sweat. Sometimes it's not the heat that makes you feel drained, but rather water misbalance that happens as a result. So drinking sufficient water is crucial if you want to feel energized during the day. And if you prefer stimulating your brain with coffee, remember that caffeinated drinks may act like a diuretic, which means that they can cause slight dehydration within your body. Therefore, it's recommended to be careful with consuming too much coffee and drink still water to replenish the natural balance. Speaking of temperatures, studies have revealed that too cold or too hot a workplace can make it difficult for office workers to focus on their daily duties. In one of the surveys, 22% of workers complained that too hot a workspace negatively affected their concentration, and another 11% of polled people said that too cold a workplace made it hard to work. Those temperature preferences may vary depending on a person's metabolic rates and physiological habits. Helsinki University of Technology and the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory researched and discovered the highest productivity temperature. It's about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, if the temperature rises higher to around 74 degrees Fahrenheit, the overall enthusiasm at the workplace begins to fall. So, if you're not satisfied with your workplace temperature, it makes sense to dress in layers or move to a conference room where you can adjust the air conditioner as you like. Perhaps it will help you boost work productivity. And if not, remember the magical reflexology tricks we discussed earlier.
Having the right temperature in your home will drastically improve your mood. Too hot, you'll become irritable and frustrated. Too cold, and the chances are that you'll be too demotivated and sluggish. Set that temperature to 77 degrees to make sure you feel good throughout the day. At night, we work better with slightly lower temperatures. 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit is the perfect temperature to get that much-needed rest. As good-looking as you are, staring at yourself in the mirror for too long can cause a lot of stress. Do you find that you focus on various body flaws, no matter how small, and constantly check your reflection in the mirror? Unless you're a vampire. You could replace it with a smaller one that could stop you from gazing at yourself for too long. Get organized and spend a few minutes of your leisure time organizing your surroundings. Taking 5 minutes to work on one area of your house, like decluttering that desk, and you'll be surprised at how much your quality of life will increase. Your clean surroundings will give you peace of mind, and cleaning itself will help you develop healthy habits. These habits can make sure you feel in control of your actions and the direction of your life. Procrastination can be a slippery slope. Once it starts, it's hard to break out. An easy start is to create a list of all the things that you've been avoiding. Then, commit to spending just a few minutes doing one of those things. Even if you don't complete it, this is a fantastic way to move forward. Before long, you'll feel better just by crossing things off that list. Wear your favorite outfit every once in a while, even if you're not going anywhere. Putting on some of your best clothes will make you feel good about yourself instantly. There's no need for a special occasion. Make yourself feel happier now. You could even head out to lunch or take a trip to the mall in them. Now, everything has a place in your home. If it doesn't, why is it there? If you've taken it out, put it back. If you've opened it, close it. If you put it down, pick it up. If you've taken it off, hang it back up. Live by these simple rules, and you'll see a profound difference in your home. Everything will be tidier, and you'll reduce your chores by doing small things before they become a bigger problem. Use or gift any items that are for special occasions. They're just using up space. If you've got a special perfume that's been sitting there unused, or a set of beautiful dishes collecting dust in a box, you're putting off life. Enjoy it right now. In the moment is more precious than we think. Take the chance and use those things now. If it isn't too well used, you could even give it to a friend or family member to make their day. Keeping a journal to jot down what you're thankful for every day will make you happier, increase your productivity, and help you sleep much better. Creating and repeating positive affirmations that acknowledge the progress you're making to improve your life is a great way to bring about some balance. It's a great way to show your gratitude for the small things and gain more of an appreciation for life. It's always more fun to be positive than it is to be negative. Set your alarm a little bit earlier every day. If you usually set your alarm for 7 a.m., set it back 5 minutes every day until you find that perfect time. That'll give you the extra time in the morning to exercise, meditate, read, plan your day, or work on something that you're passionate about. It might not seem like a lot, but those minutes are the difference between a rush and a relaxing start to the day. Having a little extra time in your day will help you feel less forgetful, a lot more productive, and happier. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. This valuable piece of advice couldn't be more true. Making your bed when you wake up will change your mindset for the entire day. Your productivity will skyrocket. Once you've done one task, you'll want to do more and more, letting them snowball to a fulfilling and successful day. If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Try yoga in the morning. Yoga is unbelievably healthy for you. It'll make you strong and lean, but also works on other areas like flexibility and balance. Plus, it's very relaxing and can be done in the comfort of your own home. Just put down a towel or get a mat and let that stress leave you for the day. Having your dog or cat sleeping in bed with you might be cute and comforting, but there can be more cons than pros. Allergies, disruption of sleep, dirt, and hair can negatively affect our ability to rest and recover. This can easily lead to irritability, raised stress levels, and nasty sniffles. Better to get a separate bed for your furry friend and use the day to cuddle with them. Most people have had the experience of putting something down on a table just for now and looking back weeks later, only to see a massive pile of random items that belong somewhere else. Start by organizing it into piles, deal with what's there, and then give it a good wipe down. It's going to feel so good to walk into the room and just see a clean space instead of all that accumulated rubbish. Make sure it stays nice and clean by always putting things back where they belong. Even if it won't stay this way, it looks good for the moment at least. Keep your front doors clean. It almost seems too simple a matter, but it does. Coming home to a clean door creates a positive feeling the second you arrive. You'll feel more relaxed and ready to settle down for the evening. Giving the front of your house a little care also helps you feel proud of your home and puts you at ease in case of any unexpected visitors. You can change the entire feel of a room with a simple bit of decoration. Sometimes an empty wall is just crying out for a little something. Look for the perfect piece of art, photograph, or even one of your own paintings to fill the space. Whatever it is, hang it up to improve the area. Adding some life to an empty space feels good, makes us smile, and fills our home with more character. Call at least one friend or family member a week. You can do this while you clean, walk the dog, or just while you're relaxing at home. Humans are naturally social. Even when we don't feel like it, socializing with our loved ones makes us feel better. This is even true if we're naturally introverted. Doing this will also make the other person feel better, so it's great all around. Put on some great music to set the feeling you want at that moment. It doesn't matter what you put on. Music is fantastic for changing your mood, so find something that fits how you want to feel. If you're looking to relax, put something slow or acoustic on. If you feel down, play something upbeat. Either way, use music to transform your home. Some people feel better when they let go of some of their physical possessions. That doesn't mean you should live in an empty house, but there's no need for a lot of things we accumulate over time. The latest home styles don't matter at all if they don't make you feel happy right now. It's all about how objects make you feel. If something brings you satisfaction, even if it's something small like a trophy from high school, you should keep it. One way to feel happier in your space is to bring in a little bit of nature. Houseplants have the added benefit of helping to refresh the air in a room, making you healthier and bringing a smile to your face. The need to care for the plant by watering and pruning it can also build some really positive habits. Plants are a great idea all around. Clean floral smells can positively affect our mood, so use oils or candles if you want to relieve the stress from your day. Lavender helps people fall asleep, which is great for nighttime. Keeping some lemon next to you while you work can make you feel more positive and awake. Now, don't go overboard with the scents, though. Any smell in too great a concentration can cause more stress and headaches, the complete opposite of what you want. Owning a pet is thought to have health benefits. It'll improve your general mood, but can even do things like lower your blood pressure. Having a pet dog will lead to a healthier and happier you because of their need to be taken for regular walks and playtime. Pets can also help relieve your stress and anxiety by promoting laughter and affectionate behavior. Just ask any cat owner. You can make any space feel like home with some well-placed lights. Light bulbs with shades of white or yellow can promote relaxation and make your room feel more alive. Candles and dimmer lights bring a nice amount of warmth to any room you put them in for that cozy feeling. It's not always possible to put yourself first, but don't forget that you deserve to be treated well too. Waiting for others to treat you well can be worse, as it might never happen. Make some time to just treat yourself every now and then. Read a good book, go for a walk, or enjoy that special chocolate you have. Yeah, chocolate. Never forget to put yourself first. Spending up to 12 hours a day on devices like TVs, smartphones, and video games can be exhausting. TV and streaming alone can take 4 hours away from your day. You might be thinking you're relaxing after a hard day, but depending on what you're watching, it can cause more stress and anxiety. Watching a little bit less will free you up to follow other exciting things. Making this change won't just have a positive impact on your free time, but also on your general health. Here's an easy way to set yourself up for a productive day. Get your clothes ready for everything. Want to run after work? Take the clothes out in the morning to motivate you more. Having to get ready for a run can demotivate you to the point where you don't do it. Getting everything ready will make sure you always get things done, even if you're not in a good mood. As well as this, planning in advance will always make sure your mornings feel more peaceful and less rushed, because you'll have already decided on your outfit for the day. Now, get out there and make it happen. Ignoring fast charge. There's a rumor going that fast charge can reduce your battery life. Moreover, it generates more heat than normal charge, which is bad for the battery. Well, it may be partly true, but the most important thing about fast charge is that it doesn't give your phone more energy than it can consume. As for heat, it can be hardly avoided even if you charge your device the regular way. But it's still not recommended to use fast charge all the time. High voltage and constant overheating may harm your gadget. Letting your phone go to 0% charge. Draining the phone completely and then recharging it back to 100% is definitely not an option. Specialists say that your best range is 20% to 90% if you want your battery to last longer. If you let the battery go to zero all the time and then juice it up, you can damage the inside materials, and it can even cause battery corrosion. Using random chargers. It's not true that all the chargers are the same. The best thing you can do to your phone is to provide it with the original charger. True, some generic Apple cable or adapter may seem as good as the original one, and even the charging time might be almost similar, but it may have different voltage. This can potentially damage your gadget. Plus, generic chargers usually don't include any protection from power surges. Charging your phones in cafes or other public places. First, you never know whether the plug is faulty or if the voltage is right. Second, juice jacking is a huge issue in public places. If you do need to charge a phone in a public place, the last thing you want to do is use a USB port. Someone can steal your personal data through it. Plus, sometimes the port capabilities are not powerful enough anyways. Going out without a power bank. That's one thing you don't want to leave at home. Power banks are much safer than any public hub. Just make sure the amperage is right. Most modern smartphones charge at 2.1 amps, and most power banks have a range of 2.1 to 2.4 amps, which is totally okay. Check if the phone's not too hot while charging. The hotter the battery, the less effective the charging is. Use charge-saving apps. Some of us do that to stay away from the plug as long as possible. Unfortunately, these apps do nothing but consume even more energy and aggressively shut down other apps. Most apps don't eat up battery when in the background, while battery-saving ones actually do. Only active processes, such as GPS or background music, really drain the battery whether you use them or not. You can restrict background apps yourself in the settings. Charging the phone in the car. Cars usually have less electricity than any phone actually needs to charge. The USB ports are low power there, so your gadget might swallow up the power much faster than the port can handle. You end up ruining your cable and battery like this, and the phone will barely get any charge. A rental car is even worse in this regard, since you never know who used that port before you jumped in. Same goes for train stations and even trains themselves. Here, the issue of data stealing I talked about earlier also applies. Charging the phone overnight. This is something almost everyone's guilty of. It may seem okay, especially if you have a smart charger that stops charging as soon as the phone reaches 100%. But as soon as your device loses a few percent, the charger will automatically top it off, and this vicious circle won't be broken until you wake up and unplug it. Just like lead-acid batteries, lithium-ion ones don't like being either fully charged or hitting 0%. Plus, it's pretty dangerous. Most fires take place at night, and a faulty charger can actually be the reason for that. Using your phone while it's charging. This way, you can confuse the battery a bit. The thing is that the phone's going to get a bit of charge, then the app you're using will grab that energy, and the charger will top off the battery again. These small cycles tire the battery out and shorten its lifespan. Ideally, you should just turn the gadget off while charging. But if that's impossible, at least leave it alone for the time being. Leaving the phone cover on while charging. Now, it's not critical, but it's not recommended either. The cover traps in the heat, making the whole charging process way less effective. You shouldn't leave your phone under the pillow for the same reason. If you get super unlucky, it can also catch fire, and now you're having a hot dream. If you just can't fall asleep without your phone, set a timer for the media and preferably put it on the bedside table. If you want to reduce heating, turn on the airplane mode and bring your screen brightness to a minimum while charging. Stopping using your gadget with too little or too much juice. Now, if for some reason you want to discontinue your phone use for some time, charge it to 50% and turn it off. This percentage is said to be the healthiest for a lithium-ion battery. With this level of charge, you can store it for months with the least possible damage to your gadget. Don't forget to turn it on every once in a while and top off the battery. Not saving the charge correctly. If you don't lock your phone when it's not in use, and may eat up too much of your battery. Phones usually have default screen lock time set to about 2 minutes, and sometimes it's a bit too much. Setting it to 1 minute or even 30 seconds could make your battery last longer. Setting a dark theme also helps save the charge too. Another tip is to avoid using mobile data, especially if the connection is poor. The gadget's going to waste its charge on trying to find a network. Temperatures are important too. Don't expose the phone to direct sun rays because overheating eats up the charge. If there's no obvious reason why the phone drains so fast, you should probably pay attention to cybersecurity. It could be a sign that someone's spying on you with special apps. Using the charger during a thunderstorm. Even though electrical appliances are designed for your safety, still there's a chance of fire. If you really need to charge, opt for a power bank. Lightning can fry your phone when it's plugged in. Anything you plug into a socket in the US is designed for a maximum of 169 volts. Lightning, on the other hand, can reach up to 1 billion volts. That would be more. It's also recommended to unplug all the electronic devices during the thunderstorm. And yeah, talking even on the landline is something you should avoid. Charging your phone with a laptop. The problem with this way of charging is about current differences. The phone may ask for less current not to damage the computer system. A low current charge also damages the battery, and over time, it loses its capability of holding the charge for relatively long time periods. One more problem is that connecting your phone to a laptop, you always risk to get some viruses, even if you don't exchange any files with the laptop. Data lines in the computer are something that makes the whole charging process difficult. It all slows things down. USB 3.0 ports are doing better, but they're not perfect either. Chargers don't have those lines. If the phone just won't charge, there might be multiple reasons for it: a faulty cable, low current power source, or even a broken USB port. The most common problem is a damaged cable. They have to endure a lot since we constantly wrap, fold, and drag them. Try different cables to see if the problem was about that. If the cable just won't work, try cleaning the cable jack. Sometimes, some random lint just won't let you charge the phone. But anyway, if it's corrosion, this trick is useless.
228,000 hours, 9,940 days, 26 years of your life. That's enough to watch around 150,000 movies or sail around the world 7 times. And it's a healthy average amount of sleep you should get in your lifetime. It sounds like a lot, but in fact, the world population is now generally getting less sleep than ever before. Sleeping less has to do with how when we go to bed aligns with our circadian rhythms. It affects how long you can sleep, no matter how tired you are. How easily you fall asleep is partially genetic, but then again, our genes haven't changed a lot over the past century. It also has to do with your melatonin levels. When your system doesn't produce enough of it, your brain has trouble sending you to sleep. The main reason we're getting less sleep now is our sleep hygiene. It's all about the good old healthy habits. When you eat healthy regular meals, work out, and set the right sleep patterns, you can even beat some bad genetics in that way. When you do the opposite, even the best of genetics won't help you sleep-wise. One thing that now affects our sleep hygiene and has gotten way more pervasive during the 21st century is light. Humans have evolved to be super sensitive to the smallest changes in light around them. You have special receptors in your eyes that respond to those changes and regulate your circadian rhythms. They send data to the brain and regulate your internal clock. This internal clock is set to help your body get ready for the coming hours and days by analyzing the amount of light. Now, the artificial light all around you and shortwave light from your gadgets confuse your natural prediction system a lot. Scientists have found it can shift your internal clock by 5 or 6 time zones. As a result, your brain gets the signal to stay alert instead of falling asleep. Running low on sleep makes most of us pretty cranky the next day. but that would be the least of all evils. Next thing you know, you have trouble focusing on things and recalling details. Your brain just doesn't get enough time to properly process and store your memories for later. It also needs the right amount of time to process your emotions, recognize them, and react the proper way. When you deprive it of that time, negative emotions take over positive ones. Giving yourself enough time to rest is a contribution to your heart health and overall balance. It's also an investment in your athletic success. Not all sports are about quick bursts of energy, but you do need energy and motivation and enough time for muscle repair, even for endurance sports like running, swimming, or biking. And if that's still not enough to convince you that sleep is all you need, doing it for 8 hours helps you get rid of around 300 calories on its own. The number differs from person to person, and the more you weigh, the larger it is. All that energy goes on fueling your essential functions, such as breathing, circulation, temperature regulation, and cellular growth and repair. When you don't get enough sleep, your body needs more energy. Since it can't get it from snoozing, it'll make you get it from food. Your hormonal levels get messed up, and your body starts producing more hunger hormone and less fullness hormone. Scientists asked healthy adults to sleep for just 6 hours a day for 5 weeks, and their resting metabolism slowed down by 8%. No fun, right? Let's see what you can do about it. It takes your body around 90 to 110 minutes to pass through all stages of sleep and restore itself completely. That's one sleep cycle. It starts with stage 1 of non-REM sleep. REM here stands for rapid eye movement. Everything slows down, including your eye and muscle movement. If someone wakes you up at this stage, you won't feel like you've had any sleep at all. It's normal to feel like you're falling and then have a sudden muscle contraction at this stage. Then, at stage 2 of non-REM sleep, your eye movement stops and your heart rate and temperature go down. Your muscles partially contract and then relax, again and again. Stage 3 of non-REM sleep is deep sleep. Your brain produces slow waves. Your eyes and muscles aren't moving. It's not easy to wake you up. Then, about an hour after falling asleep, you pass through the REM sleep stage when you normally see vivid dreams. So, your brain activity increases and your sleep isn't that deep. Your major muscles, like the ones in your arms and legs, can't move. REM periods start out lasting 10 minutes and then get longer and longer. Then, the cycle starts over at stage 1 of non-REM sleep. When you plan your bedtime, it's important that you don't break those sleep cycles and let yourself have at least 5 of them per night. That sums up to 7.5 hours of rest. So, if you know you'll have to wake up at 7 a.m. the next day, you gotta schedule to doze off at 11:30 p.m. Planning on setting your alarm for 8 a.m. to rise and shine and get off to work or school? Then, your optimal bedtime starts at 12:30 a.m. You got it right, it's not about the earlier the better. If you missed your bedtime for some reason, wait an hour and a half before the next cycle starts. This way, you won't wake up tired and exhausted in the middle of your sleep cycle. We've all had those days when we're so exhausted we can hardly wait to get into bed, and then sleep just won't come. Sleep experts call it conditioned or learned arousal. It's one of the most common sleep problems these days. It most likely happens because something in your sleep environment is screaming to your brain to wake you up and not make you doze off. The worst thing you can do in that situation is start scrolling through your social media feed or work emails on your laptop. First off, the blue light your gadget's screen emits restrains the production of melatonin. That hormone is in charge of your sleep-wake cycle, aka circadian rhythm. Second, the mere expectation of those work emails and prospectively bad news or more tasks to do makes you nervous. Each new message you get means another decision your brain needs to take, and it has to stay active for that. That's why calming it down could take a good while when you finally put your phone aside and lay your head on the pillow. To get there faster, try listening to music for 25 to 60 minutes before bed. It doesn't have to be Beethoven and the like. Some other relaxing tunes, like jazz or folk songs, slow your heart rate and breathing and help your muscles relax. When you do it regularly, your brain will take it as a before-bed ritual, and you'll fall asleep even faster. It can also be a special sleepcast or an audiobook, as long as the narrator has a soothing voice and the story isn't shocking. The sound of frying bacon has a similar effect on your mind. It's comforting and repetitive enough to send some chilling vibes to your brain. It's perfect for falling asleep and as white noise while you're working and need to focus on something. You don't have to fry bacon before bed. Listening to a recording of it will do. Your report that's long overdue, the new person at work who seems to like you. Should you go see that movie everyone's talking about? And when will you finally sort all of your laundry? All those thoughts racing through your mind before bed won't let your brain unwind. Try getting up and writing down all of them to clear your mind of that burden. You could try putting them all in one painting or composing a poem. Another idea is making some meaningless lists in your mind. Plan what you take on a vacation on Mars or how you decorate your restaurant. It all works. You don't really have to know how many hours you have before your alarm clock goes off, so set it and hide it from plain sight. Put it in a drawer or under your bed. Every time you look at it, your brain sees it as a wake prompt. You quickly get used to this process and might wake up at night just for that. You can also try tricking your mind and stop trying to get asleep at all. You've probably noticed how much easier it is to doze off on your couch than it is even in the most comfortable of beds. Imagine you have an important test or job interview in the morning. You realize you need to get 8 hours of healthy sleep, but you aren't tired at all. You get into bed and try forcing yourself into it, and then, when you have just 4 hours of sleep time left, you move to the couch. The living room is a different environment, most likely filled with good memories. Most importantly, your brain doesn't associate it with you forcing yourself to fall asleep. Without all that pressure, you relax and get your well-deserved Z's in no time. Now let's talk about some physical things that can speed up the process of you falling asleep and improve the quality of it. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Most sleep experts agree the best bedroom temperature is around 65 degrees. Your body temperature naturally decreases to initiate sleep, and this room temperature range helps boost this process. If you keep it too hot or too cold, you'll affect the quality of REM sleep. Shades, curtains, or blinds will help you make your bedroom dark enough. Switching the bright overhead lights off won't send you to dreamland immediately. The best you can do is get some lamps, a dimmer switch, or candles to keep the lights in your bedroom low-key all evening long. And make sure you spend some time outdoors in the morning or earlier in the day to get enough natural light. It'll keep your body clock on the right sleep-wake schedule. You'll never really declutter your mind in a cluttered space. Even if you're okay with it, your brain isn't. It interprets the mess in your bedroom as another task to be completed. Until it's done, it can't totally relax. Start with decluttering your clothes. They belong in the dresser, not on the floor or your armchair. Go through your paperwork. Better yet, keep your bills, lists, and papers out of the bedroom. Your books belong on the bookshelves. Don't pile them up around your bed. One is enough. Otherwise, it's another subconscious to-do list. Sort the artwork. If it's too chaotic or intense, it can also stimulate your brain to process it instead of calming down. If possible, keep the space under your bed clear, or at least sort the stuff you keep there and put it in vacuum bags to save space. Remember, your bed is for sleeping. It's not a home office where you can always answer a phone call or respond to emails. It's not a movie theater for watching late-night TV. And it's not the place to snuggle with your pets. They can easily interrupt your sleep as they start moving at night. You most likely sleep in one of 3 positions. The majority of people are side sleepers. This lateral position is pretty good for you, especially if you prefer the left side. Try not to curl up though. It may prevent you from breathing deeply. Sleeping on your back is called the supine position. No matter if you sleep with your arms down and close to your body, or like a starfish with your arms up over your head, it could make your lower back feel uncomfortable and take your snoring to the next level. This position is good for your neck though. To make it easier on your back, put a pillow between your legs to align your hips better and decrease the stress on your lower back. If you prefer to sleep on your stomach, it's the prone position. In this position, you tilt your head up and your neck muscles press on the important arteries going to the brain. As a result, your brain doesn't get enough blood, and you could wake up with a headache. So, stomach sleepers, you might want to reconsider your choice. Master the technique of progressive muscle relaxation. Your muscles that have been working all day need to unwind, just like your mind does. It's a kind of meditation that goes like a waterfall through each and every muscle in your body. You can go from your head and down to your toes, or in the opposite direction. First, take a deep breath. Then, tense your toes. Hold them like that for 5 seconds, and then relax them for 30 seconds. Move to your calves and thighs, and do the same. Contract and relax. Continue to your abs and the backside. Move up to your hands, then your arms and shoulders. Don't rush. Go muscle by muscle and focus your mind on what you're doing. No external thoughts allowed. Finally, work your chest, neck, and don't forget about your face. Tighten your jaws and then relax them. If that full body relaxation is too much for you, at least work out your toes as you lie in bed. Curling and uncurling them for a while is a great way to release the tension from your entire body. It's so repetitive, your body starts slowly moving into sleep mode. Plus, it works out your leg muscles and even your abs. You can also try one of the many breathing techniques. Blowing bubbles, for example, relaxes your body and takes your mind off problems that distract you from going to sleep mode. Moon breathing is popular in many countries in Asia as a way to calm down your nervous system and improve your sleep cycle. Want to give it a go? Put a finger on your right nostril and breathe slowly and deeply through your left one. The yogis believe this way you only get the passive moon energy. It slows you down before sleep or whenever you need to calm down quickly. Use all of your acting skills and hum like a bee. It's like a spa for your mind and nervous system. Humming turns on the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone, and serotonin, aka the feel-good one. To make it work, you gotta lie down on your bed, close your mouth, inhale through the nose, and hum like a bee on your exhales for about 10 minutes before sleep. Have you ever heard of the 10-3-2-1-0 technique? The idea is to stop taking caffeine in any form 10 hours before bed. Then, no food at all 3 hours before bed. You must stop working to take your mind off things 2 hours before sleep. No more screen time 1 hour before bed. That includes your phone, TV, and computer. Finally, the 0 in the formula stands for the number of times you'll hit the snooze button in the morning. Experts confirm this technique works miracles and will help you sleep well and wake up energized the next morning. If you can't survive without a pre-bed snack, a grumbling stomach is no fun at all. At least pick the right and healthy food. When you consume caffeine or fatty foods high in sugar, it takes a long time for your system to digest that stuff. That's why your body temperature rises. It won't help you get a good night's sleep. Instead, get some almonds before bed for a longer and deeper sleep. Another healthy and effective before-bed snack is walnuts. They contain omega-3 acids that kickstart the production of serotonin. The best you can do for your sleep, diet-wise, is to have brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Bananas help your muscles relax, thanks to potassium. Eggs are rich in protein that helps healthy sleep. Oats and honey send the right amount of melatonin to your brain. You can also get a cup of chamomile tea, eat some kiwi, or have a bowl of rice. Foods you should avoid before going to sleep, unless you want to be awake all night, are cheese, fatty food, and all things spicy. Another sure way to spend more time quality sleeping and not tossing and turning in bed is to take a warm bath or shower an hour or two before bed. Even 10 minutes can help change your body's core temperature, relax both the body and mind, and make you fall asleep no problem. Now, are you 100% happy with your pillow? It should be just the right size, not too fat and not too flat. If your neck and shoulders don't get sufficient support or are curved at a weird angle that makes them twist or crunch, this puts your spine and body out of balance. As a result, you wake up with discomfort in your neck, shoulders, and back. It also happens when you've overused even the most perfect of pillows. Ideally, you should replace it after 18 months. That doesn't sound like a long time, but then again, you spend 2,500 hours a year with your head on it, so it's not that bad after all. Memory foam pillows can last longer, up to 3 years. A natural pillow is also more durable than a synthetic one. Ready to test your soft sleep companion? First, take off the pillowcase and give the pillow a thorough look. If it has stains from sweat, is torn, or smells, it does need replacing. Pillows collect dead skin cells, mildew, mold, fungus, and dust mites. Over time, these unwelcome guests become a crowd that can interfere with your sleep because of their odors. Then, fold your pillow in half. If it lies there folded and doesn't spring back to its original shape, it's time to start looking for a new one. You can choose a light and soft pillow filled with down, feathers, and other fillings. A good quality down pillow won't be cheap, but it's worth it if you want that natural material and super softness. Memory foam and latex pillows are heavier than lightweight choices, but unless you want to reshape it and move it with you while sleeping, it can be just fine. Your mattress also matters. Most of them have a lifespan of 8 years. If yours is much older than that, it's time to find a replacement for it. The 3 most common types of them are inner spring, foam, and adjustable. Side sleepers will feel more comfortable with a softer mattress. Stomach sleepers need a firm one. And back sleepers land somewhere in between. The good old inner spring option will give you that bouncy feeling with its extra durable interconnected coils. It's smart to choose a firmer, well-quilted mattress and get a replaceable mattress topper to make it last longer. Memory foam mattresses have less spring and give you more pressure relief. They mostly have several layers of foam, heavier ones on the bottom and lighter kinds on the top. There are also hybrid mattresses with 2 central elements, an inner spring support core and a foam comfort system. It's the perfect blend of bounce and contouring and low heat retention. It works for sleepers in any position. You can also experiment with an air-filled mattress with a remote that lets you control how much air is inside. Sleep is such an important aspect of your life, it gave rise to many myths. Let's see which of them are actually true. Some people say you can reduce sleep time by an hour or two every night and feel just as good. Sleep experts beg to differ. An average person needs between 6 and 9 hours a night. You must already know your own number. You can force yourself into earlier wake-ups and feel seemingly well at first, but your sleep debt will gradually build up. As a result, your brain won't be able to function to its fullest. Your concentration level will drop, your reaction will become slower, and you'll feel confused and distressed. If you know you'll have to reduce the amount of sleep for a certain period of time, try banking sleep in advance. Experiments proved going to bed a couple of hours earlier than usual every night for a week could help you suffer less once you have to sleep less. But don't make a habit out of it. Sleeping in every weekend won't compensate for your sleep deprivation during the week. Another popular myth says putting your socks on will instantly send you to dreamland. It won't work in 1 second, but it can be one of the cues for your brain that it's time to doze off. Wearing socks promotes blood circulation to your feet. The vessels widen and can get rid of heat much faster. This drops down your core body temperature faster than usual, and that's what you need for a good, healthy sleep. You've probably heard that a long daytime nap is great for you. Naps are fine, but you'd better keep them under 1 hour and enjoy them before 2 to 3 p.m. If you nap for longer, you'll likely fall into the deep stages of sleep. You'll wake up with a groggy feeling and not refreshed at all. You'll also likely sleep off some of the sleep debt you have from the morning. It means you could have trouble falling asleep at night. To get the most productive nap, set the alarm to limit your nap to 10 to 20 minutes. Nap around the halfway point between your wake-up time and the time you want to go to bed. Find a dark, cool, and quiet place. Don't think about your work tasks or problems. Focus on what you're going to get from this nap. Do you believe the popular opinion that it's better to be an early bird than a night owl? In fact, both can do pretty well in life. It might be easier for a morning person to fit in and do better at work because of the way society is traditionally structured. Morning people are mostly more persistent, self-directed, and agreeable. But it doesn't mean you have to force yourself into becoming a lark if your productivity is at its peak in the evening. You'll feel better if you stay true to your natural preferences. When night owls wake up early, they're still producing melatonin. If you disrupt that process, you'll be doing yourself more bad than good. Your internal clock is mainly biological. You inherit the length of your circadian cycle from your parents. For night owls, it normally runs longer, and trying to change that is going against your own nature and genetics. The guy you once met at the grocery store, a friendly lady who used to serve you coffee on your way to the office. Another sleep myth says that in your dreams, you can only see faces that you have already seen in real life. This sounds a lot like the truth, but there's no way to prove it 100% right or wrong. First, your dreams aren't normally vivid enough to detect and memorize the facial or body features of people you see there. Second, they're all super fleeting. Your dreams start fading away the second you wake up, and your mind starts filling in the gaps in case you want to remember those dreams. So it's likely to rewrite the missing data with something or someone you've seen before. Finally, your brain processes the faces of people you see even if you don't pay any attention to them. So it's impossible to tell who's just a plot of your imagination and who's real. Many people are sure those who can't wake up without an alarm clock just aren't getting enough sleep. In reality, this has to do with your REM cycle. If you wake up in the middle of it, you'll likely feel tired, even if you've slept the recommended amount of hours for your age. If you don't feel like doing all the sleep cycle math yourself, get an alarm app that monitors your sleep cycles and will wake you up just at the right time. Have you ever rubbed the on me on spot trying to hit the sack faster? That little spot is between your earlobe and the hairline that comes up the back of your neck. Videos of people rubbing it with their thumb or forefinger have gone viral. They say it helps to relax the nervous system. Sleep experts debunk this myth, as sleep is about your brain and hormones, and not about massaging yourself. One way the rubbing could work out is by exhausting you so much that you'd fall asleep eventually. Another popular myth states that you gotta stay awake all night to cure jet lag. In fact, depriving yourself of sleep won't help you adjust to the new time zone. There is no cure for jet lag, but you could try spending as much time outside as you can. Natural light should help you feel better and get some sound sleep. You can start preparing yourself for your future trip ahead of time. If you're traveling east, say from New York to London, with a 5-hour time difference, start shifting your schedule 4 or 5 days before the trip by 1 hour. So, by the time you get there, you'll be used to local time. When it's time to go back home, the same tips will work. You can also start preparing yourself and adjusting your bedtime in advance. When buying tickets for a long-haul flight through multiple time zones, pick a flight for the time you usually sleep at, if that's possible. If you normally go to bed at 10 p.m. and there are flights that leave at 7 p.m. or 10 p.m., it's a good idea to go for the second option. Wake up 2 to 3 hours earlier the night before the flight to fall asleep faster on board. Arrive at the airport a couple of hours before the flight and even earlier for international flights from larger airports. It will let you avoid unnecessary stress as you walk through check-in and security. And this way, you'll have enough time to do all of your pre-bed rituals. Want to brush your teeth? No problem. You have time for that. Do you normally read before you fall asleep? You can do that before you get on the plane as well. This will trick your body into thinking it's just another regular day. And taking your seat on the plane will feel like moving to your bedroom, all ready for a good night's sleep. Don't ever deprive yourself of some quality, well-deserved sleep. Make those 26 years of your life really count.
Meghan Markle often touches her hair, and you can see it in her photos. This soothing gesture helps her calm down when there's way too much attention around her. Another trick she uses is tucking her chin down. This creates a sort of shield that protects her. Etiquette experts claim one of the things that makes people like us is looking approachable. Carry your handbag in the left hand. Your right hand should always be ready for a handshake. It's not convenient to have to switch hands at the moment when you need to greet a person. Another trick to seem more sociable at a party is to always hold a drink. This way, people will be more likely to come up to you to chat. When you enter a party, the chances are all eyes will be on you. To come across as friendly and accessible, slightly widen your eyes. And when you're smiling, keep your mouth open a bit. That's what Meghan does all the time. Smiling is important if you want to look cute in photos. But even though Meghan always smiles, she's constantly making an effort not to do it too widely. Too big smiles can seem a bit forced and unnatural, and don't look pretty in photos. One more trick to look good in photos is to relax. A few deep breaths are usually enough to relieve tension. If you feel a bit awkward and don't know where to place your hands, hold a bag. Act natural and say "Queen." Another technique is used not only by Meghan. Most psychologists recommend repeating the name of the person you're talking to. There may be hundreds of guests at a party, but if you say someone's name while talking to them, it'll make them feel special. To get more people to like you, try a mirroring technique. It's all about reflecting and repeating the body language of the person you're chatting with. People tend to feel more comfortable when someone copies their gestures. Just don't overdo it. Body language is important for communication, and keeping a good posture is one of the key points of etiquette. Meghan Markle has an impeccable posture. When she walks, she holds her chin parallel to the floor, and her shoulders are rolled back all the time. When she sits, she keeps her legs crossed, which is good for keeping a nice posture. A good stance is important for great photos. Point one leg out and tilt the opposite hip to the side. Now angle your head a bit down and to the left or right, whatever works best for you. Ta-da! You've got the stance Meghan and many other celebrities use to pose. When you choose an outfit for the camera, opt for a bright color that will pop in the picture. It'll also help if your clothes accentuate your waist. Complimenting those around you is a good way to make people like you, and it works better than you might think. Psychologists claim that everything we say influences the way people perceive us. When you give a compliment and say someone's stunning, they subconsciously start thinking that you're a good person. And if you complain about someone not being nice, people might conclude that, in fact, you're not that great. So be careful with your words. Many people can subconsciously feel the mood of those around them. That's why, if you want your friends to feel comfortable when they're with you, try to be cheerful. If you send out positive vibes, people will instantly like you, just because they feel good when you're around. There's a theory that people judge each other based on two main things: warmth and competence. If you want people to like you, try to show that you're warm, friendly, and aren't going to compete. Another thing that matters is competence. It can be your education, job, or whatnot. But first, you need to show your warmth, and only after that, competence. The sequence is crucial, especially if you want to apply this technique at work. Expect good things from people. If you think someone's not friendly, you'll behave in a way that will reveal the least attractive qualities of this person. After that, they aren't likely to be kind to you. But if you show friendliness, people will treat you more nicely. Nobody likes Mr. or Mrs. Perfect, let alone the fact perfection doesn't exist. So, show how imperfect you are from time to time. It turns out people tend to like more those folks who sometimes make mistakes. Here's one cool experiment proving this fact. A group of students needed to rate how likable someone was. They watched several videos of people taking a quiz. Surprisingly, those who didn't nail it were rated higher than those who passed the test with flying colors. Some extra points went to the person who had spilled his coffee at the end of the quiz. Sure, you don't need to do the same, just don't be afraid to seem vulnerable. It's usually not a good idea to touch strangers, but a subtle, barely noticeable contact can make people feel better about you when you're talking with them. You can tap them on the back or touch their arm, but only lightly. An experiment showed that waitresses who used this technique while giving back the change got larger tips. To make someone like you more, tell them a secret. It can be some personal information, but not something that could be used against you. It works both ways, but your new friend must be sure you won't spill the beans. Trustworthiness is as vital as loyalty and honesty. Casual questions like, "What's your favorite season?" are okay, but "Tell me about your first love" can help you get to know this person better. In any case, be careful with such questions and go ahead only if you're sure they won't hurt anyone's feelings. Emotionless people seem less trustworthy than those who show what they feel. It doesn't mean you need to throw temper tantrums, just be sincere and don't bottle up your feelings. Curiously, if you're too nice and selfless, people might be unwilling to work or make friends with you. It may sound weird, but those who are too sweet often make others feel inferior. They can also come across as insincere. Not smiling is a big mistake, but adding a smile emoji to a formal letter will most probably make you look incompetent. Try not to do that, even if you want to appear warm and friendly. It's better to choose the right words and leave your smile for offline life. Your behavior on the internet forms the overall impression people have about you. Don't share too many photos on social media. A recent study has shown that people usually don't relate well to those who overshare their private life. How long your social media friend list is matters too. Most people find it suspicious when it's too long or too short. One more study has revealed that the perfect number to seem friendly, but not too much, is about 300 people. Those users who had under 100 people on their list had a pretty low likability rating. People with more than 300 people had a slightly better result. but many research participants saw them as way too focused on social media and looking for popularity. Going to extremes is also a turnoff. Not sharing any personal information is as bad as oversharing it. Close-up profile pictures are another thing that can irritate people. One study proved that photos taken from a distance of 1 foot made people seem less competent and less attractive than those taken from at least 4 feet. It's probably because close-up images are somewhat distorted and look a bit smashed. My, what a big nose you have! Now, honesty is one of the most likable things out there. So, humble bragging is another big no-no. Let's say you're at an interview trying to land a job. In this case, saying that working hard is your weakness is a terrible idea. Instead, offer something not related to the position in question. It'll make you look more sincere. You won't hide your weaknesses, but there won't be any false modesty. A proper handshake is your chance to make a good first impression. If your handshake is firm, people are more likely to perceive you as an outgoing and sociable person. People with a firm handshake are also more likely to get a job. Put her there, pal.
There's some weird tickling in your nose. Oh no, you're gonna sneeze. It'll sound thunderous in the complete silence of the conference room. Not to draw unwanted attention, tickle the roof of your mouth with your tongue. 5 to 10 seconds is usually enough to get rid of the urge to sneeze. Or you can pinch your nose at the nostrils, like you do when something nearby smells bad. Pinching the bridge of your nose just below your eyebrows can help too. But whatever you do, don't look at bright lights. About 1/3 of people sneeze when they look at the sun, or even a light bulb. Imagine you're talking to someone, and they just wouldn't let you get a word in. If you think it's rude to interrupt them, drop whatever you have in your hands, if it's not your phone or laptop, that is. Or you can pretend to be clumsy and knock something over. In any case, the chances are it'll make them realize they've been talking for too long. Getting stressed out before an important event is a perfectly normal reaction. But it can make you absent-minded, and you won't be able to concentrate. If you realize you've become tense, squeeze the muscles of your face, arms, and shoulders. Clench your fists. Now, relax and take a deep breath. You're ready to tackle any problem on your way. Your throat's tickling. It doesn't seem to be too much of a bother, but once this annoying sensation starts, it doesn't let you concentrate on anything else. To get rid of it, scratch your ear. This way, you'll stimulate the nerves there. Your body's likely to react with a muscle spasm in the throat. This spasm will relieve the tickle. You might feel ill at ease starting a difficult conversation. It makes you fidget, avert your eyes, shift your weight. Denying your anxiety will make the situation even more awkward than it already is. It's better to offer a quick explanation. I feel a bit uncomfortable bringing it up. You need to introduce someone to your friend, but their name has totally slipped your mind. Apologize and claim you've been so busy recently that you're having brain fog. Most people these days understand what a hectic schedule can do to a person. Another way to find out someone's name, that you're supposed to know by now, is to ask for their business card. Or you can give them your phone and ask to put in their contact information. Then, all you need to do is look at the new contact before tucking your phone away. You can also ask the person to spell their name, saying you want to make sure you've got it right. There's no need to shout to be heard at a loud party. Ask the person you're chatting with to bend their ear out and then press it in. They'll hear you much better. To stop hiccuping, put a long straw in a glass or bottle with water. Block both ears with your fingers and start drinking. Or you can try covering a glass of cold water with a paper towel or clean cloth and sip through it. Gently squeezing your nose while drinking something helps too. Another trick is to sit down and bring your knees up to your chest. Hug them for 2 minutes or so. You can also inhale a large gulp of air and hold your breath for as long as you can. Usually, 10 to 20 seconds are enough. Slowly breathe out. If you're still hiccuping after that, repeat several more times. Or Grab the tip of your tongue and gently pull on it once or twice. It stimulates the muscles and nerves in your throat. But don't forget to wash your hands before doing it. If you feel you're getting emotional and tears are about to spill, look up and hold your breath for a couple of seconds. Then slowly exhale. You should feel better now. The meeting's over. Time to leave the room. Only, you can't pick up your notes. Your arm's fallen asleep. Try clenching and unclenching your fist. It'll get the blood flowing, which will ease the nerves. You can also gently rock your head from side to side. When the nerves in your neck get squeezed, it can lead to tingly hands and arms. Rocking your head will loosen your neck muscles and release the pressure. Phones love autocorrecting your messages into something embarrassing. If you notice your blunder after already having sent the message, you can either apologize or laugh it off. Something like, "Wow, my phone apparently has a mind of its own." An important meeting is about to start, but you feel more than a bit sleepy. Not to doze off while your boss is giving a presentation, take a deep breath and hold it for several seconds. Then release it. You'll feel a bit more energized. It's common to feel awkward, nervous, or shy when talking to new people. Instead of blushing or looking away, follow the 3 seconds of eye contact rule. It won't make you feel uncomfortable, but will show your interest. If someone's explaining something to you, eye contact can be a bit longer than 3 seconds. It's a sure way to prove you're paying attention. Anxiety can get the best of you at the worst possible moment. To deal with this problem, set aside a time slot for your worries. Carve out 15 minutes every day and worry all you want. But once the time's over, you have to stop thinking about the things that make you nervous. Try not to do it right before going to bed, though. This can make it harder to fall asleep afterward. If you feel nervous before an interview or exam, chew some gum. For some reason, eating makes your brain feel safe. You're literally tricking it into a relaxed state. After you eat something extremely cold, like a popsicle, the nerves in the roof of your mouth start freezing. Your body concludes that your brain is getting chilled too. To compensate, it overheats, which leads to an ice cream headache. Instead of scrunching your face and moaning, press your tongue against the roof of your mouth. This will warm it up almost immediately. Try to cover as much space as you can. When you ask for something you need, always use the word because. It makes people believe there's a serious reason for your request. It happens even to the best of us. A song gets stuck in your head, and it's usually either a commercial jingle or a popular song you've been making fun of. When it happens, you're likely to repeat one part of the song, most often the chorus, again and again. Try singing the song till the very end. It'll make your brain think the song's over, and the tune won't bother you anymore. If you're feeling dizzy, put your hand on something stable. In most cases, it'll help your brain to recalculate your body's position in space, and your dizziness will pass. If you want to ace an important interview, imagine you've known the interviewer for ages. Picture how you're going to greet each other, shake hands, and have a pleasant conversation. This will help you relax before the big event. Let's say you want to leave an awkward conversation, but are unsure of the best time to do it. Each conversation has times when it drops off and has a lull in it. It usually happens before people start a new topic. Such a lull is your cue it's time to leave. Start with, well, sorry, or anyway, before saying your goodbye and fleeing. You can't stand it anymore. You need to get away from this bore you've started talking to at a party, and the sooner the better. Not to hurt their feelings or encourage the person to follow you. Say you need to make a phone call. It's a safer option than saying you're going to go get some food or go to the bathroom. To make your excuse more believable, provide some details. You can easily give an impression of an outgoing person at a party. Pick someone and ask them a random question, like, "I love your shoes. Where did you get them?" It'll be a perfect icebreaker. People just love talking about themselves.
Don't waste time trying to save money. In many cases, you can use this precious time to earn more money than you're trying to save. For example, you spend several hours a day commuting to your workplace, but it might be more profitable for you to find an apartment closer to your office. Then you could spend your free time on something more productive, like studying or having some more work done. Once you have some extra cash, you can use the opportunity to choose. You can keep doing menial tasks, or you can pay someone to do it for you and concentrate on higher value projects. And then, you're likely to end up making much more money in the future. Try to have a financial cushion that will allow you to lead the same lifestyle for at least several months if you stop getting money. The best way is to find some source of passive income. For example, if you become a property owner, you'll get rent every month, and you won't have to do anything. You can write an ebook, then you'll get royalties. You can also get passive income after investing in real estate, shares, or securities. Rich people rarely spend their money on life coaches. They usually have a lot of life experience of their own, and they know that to achieve something in life, you need to have a goal and enough willpower to reach it. If a person isn't ready for hard work, no motivational speaker can make them successful. That's why most life coaches target people with low income and aren't at the height of their careers. Those tend to believe that there is a magic pill which can change their life for the better. Always get your contracts in writing. Rich people don't just go into business with a handshake deal. It's the poor who tend to shy away from signing any agreements. It happens either for a lack of legal knowledge or because they don't want to come across as greedy and paranoid. But then there's a chance that your partner may remember your deal differently, or there might be a misunderstanding you won't be able to clear up, all because you don't have the terms in writing. The wealthy rarely overspend. Even if one of them is out there buying a Lambo, their decision is based on their goal and financial status at the moment. A person doesn't become rich because they're great at spending money. You need to be good at keeping it. Try taxing yourself by transferring some money to a separate account. Unfortunately, it's all too easy to dip into your savings once you need or want something really badly. But when you pay taxes, you don't get your money back. And once you start to receive your savings as taxes, you won't be able to waste this money so easily anymore. Rich people first add value to themselves and then to the world. They start with improving their own skills and their quality of life. This can help you convince others you're worth a hefty paycheck, because in return, you can add value to their lives. You shouldn't focus on saving more money. A much better thought is, how can I earn more? Wealthy people understand there's a limit on how much money one can save, but there's no limit on how much you can take. The wealthy rarely spend a fortune on grooming. There are successful business people and billionaires who are known to cut their hair on their own. Others have their hair treated when they visit developing countries. Rich people try hard to steer clear of junk food. These days, the wealthy prefer simple and healthy foods. Junk food is high in cholesterol and carbs and low in vitamins and minerals. That's why eating junk food regularly may lead to unpleasant consequences. And rich people know it's often cheaper to prevent a problem than spend a fortune solving it. People who have their mind on becoming rich don't rent, they buy. When you rent an apartment, you literally pay someone else's mortgage. They do take some financial risk in case some repairs are needed. But on the whole, the apartment owner both makes money and gains assets, while you give them your money and simply occupy their space. It's not a great investment. Sure, buying your own property isn't a piece of cake, but if you manage to do it, you'll be one step closer to getting rich. The wealthy don't try to save money when it comes to health. They pay high annual fees for concierge medicine to get help anytime they need it. And rich people never look for cheaper healthcare prices or bargains. The wealthy avoid getting saddled with late fees. It's a waste of money they could otherwise save. They automate their payments. This way, they don't have to deal with high penalty rates. Wealthy people don't sleep in. They have too much on their plate every day and use all the benefits of waking up early. One study found out of 44% of rich people get up 3 hours before their work starts, and only 3% of the poor do the same. The rich do not just buy new things, they invest. They pay for costly kitchen appliances not because they like wasting money. Wealthy people know high-quality things usually serve longer, and they essentially save money by buying a more expensive thing. That's why they think not about the deal they could get, but about the cost per use. Never compare yourself with others. Social media these days is a powerful tool that can also make you feel lonely, unhappy, and worthless. And this prevents you from concentrating on your own goals. Rich people prefer to compare themselves to their past selves, not to other people. It makes them feel accomplished and confident. Value for money is one of the most important life rules for wealthy people. Even if they decide to spend millions on a home, they bargain like anyone else. But some rich people go beyond that and choose to live in modest, inexpensive houses. Or they buy promising real estate while it's still inexpensive. And when its price skyrockets, they make a good profit. Almost 80% of rich people do physical exercise at least 4 times a week. It's crucial for those who spend most of their time in the office. Besides keeping you in good shape, regular workouts boost your energy and mood. You sleep better and become more productive. While searching for a job, most people pay attention only to the size of their potential salary, but others try to figure out what new knowledge they can get in their new position and how useful it can be later. Sometimes, it's better to accept a job offer from a famous company with a lower starting salary. This will give you an opportunity to build a career and earn much more money after some time. More than 60% of rich people listen to audiobooks or podcasts while they commute or have free time. The main idea is to make your brain work by feeding it something inspirational or educational. Rich people know there's no need to buy a pair of jeans that costs $1,000 if you can find a high-quality alternative that's 10 times cheaper. The same goes for other purchases. The wealthy don't blindly follow the latest fashion trends. They don't buy up new collections just because those are popular today. This isn't the best money investment. But what might be even more important, rich people don't feel the need to prove anything to other people. You have to overcome your modesty and promote yourself. Most people think bragging about their accomplishments and skills will drive others away. But in business, if you want to succeed, it's often absolutely necessary to put yourself out there. Never stop learning. People whose goal it is to become successful keep trying to get as much knowledge and experience as possible. They understand that learning is a lifelong process, and some new information can make all the difference when it comes to remaining poor or making a fortune. Rich people know their budget and can manage their money. They don't overspend. If they use a credit card, they do everything to avoid paying finance charges. By the way, only 8% of wealthy people have more than one bank card, and 77% of low-income earners carry several credit cards in their wallets. But the more cards you have, the more fees you have to pay, and the more difficult it is to keep track of your spendings.
You know, your giggles during serious moments aren't laughter at all. It's a defense mechanism that helps you get through tough times. Even though some people understand it, you might experience extreme discomfort if that happens to you. So, to stop yourself from giggling at tense moments, you need to substitute this kind of behavior with something that takes your attention away. Lip licking or even lip biting can help. You can also try biting the insides of your cheeks or even pinch yourself. The sudden pain will stop you from laughing. Or not. Fidgeting is another way out. The main thing is to find something that might distract you. It can be clicking a pen, pressing phone buttons, or even touching your earrings, guys. If you just can't help it, the only possible way out is to leave. Find a good excuse. You can say you're feeling sick and need some fresh air and laugh it out when no one else can see. Laughter can also be a good medicine whenever you feel stressed, but it might be a bit out of place. Anyway, sometimes running away doesn't seem possible and lip biting doesn't help. In this case, you could try to focus on one color in the room. Find all the objects around you and then all the red ones and so on. Even such a small goal can carry your emotions away. Sing your favorite song to yourself. Start counting from 1 to 20, or even recite that weird ad you saw on TV the other night. Again. It's all about switching your attention to something neutral. It usually takes under a minute to calm down when you stop thinking about something that makes you nervous. When you enter a party, chances are all eyes are on you. Keep your eyes wide open to show that you're open to this world too. When you're smiling, keep your mouth slightly open. If the smile is too wide, some people might think it's a bit fake. Well, time to greet everyone here. Remember that a weak handshake may be pretty offensive. It's your first impression after all. If your handshake is firm, people instantly think you're an outgoing and sociable person. Also, those who have a firm handshake are more likely to get a job. And yeah, nobody likes touching cold hands, so warm them up before handshaking. Now, the way someone shakes your hand can show their intentions. A glove handshake means they can be trusted. And if someone touches your arm or shoulder while shaking your hand, it probably means this person lacks communication. Also, carry your handbag, gals, in the left hand. The right one is always ready for a handshake. It's not really convenient to switch hands at the moment when you need to greet a person at a party. Another trick to seem more sociable at any event is to always hold a drink. This way, people around you somehow believe you're more approachable. No matter if it's an old friend or someone you just met, always use the name of the person you're talking to. Yeah, there may be hundreds of guests at a party, but if you repeat their name while talking to them, it'll make them feel special. I had a friend in school who could remember the names of everyone she met at a party. I remember everyone liked her for it too. Throw a compliment to whomever you're talking to. Psychologists claim everything we say influences the way people perceive us. When you give a compliment and say someone's stunning, they subconsciously start thinking you're nice. It works both ways. If you complain someone's not nice, people might think it's you who isn't nice, not the one you're talking about. To get even more people to like you, try a mirroring technique. It's basically all about reflecting and repeating the body language of the person you're talking with. It's always nice to meet someone just like you. As for body language, mind your posture. Keep your chin parallel to the floor and shoulders rolled back all the time. While sitting, keep the legs crossed. It helps to keep a good posture too. Many people can subconsciously feel the mood of the people around them. So, if you want your friend to feel comfortable when they're with you, be in a great mood, or at least try to. Your good vibes will spread, and people will instantly like you just because they feel good when you're around. Expect good things from people. It may sound totally weird, but if you think someone's not nice, you'll behave in a way that reveals all the worst things about this person. Chances are, they won't be really nice to you. If you show friendliness instead, most people will do the same thing. Now, this next one is kind of illogical. If you're too nice and altruistic, some people might not want to work and make friends with you. Sounds weird, but the problem is that selfless people might make other people feel they look worse. Others simply don't believe in altruistic people's sincerity. Yeah, nobody really likes Mr. and Mrs. Perfect. Do they exist at all? So, a good tip is to show how imperfect you can be sometimes. Psychologists say people tend to like those who actually make mistakes from time to time. How true. Now, touching people non-stop isn't a good idea, but a subtle touch can make people feel better about you when you're talking with them. Tap them slightly on the back or touch their arm, but please don't go to extremes. An experiment showed that waitresses who used this technique while returning the change earned bigger tips. Whoa, profit! To make someone like you even more, try telling them a secret. It should be something personal that could be used against you. It works both ways, but your new friend must be sure you won't spill the tea. Trustworthiness is as vital as loyalty and honesty. Casual questions like, "What's your favorite color?" are okay, but "Tell me about your first love" could probably help you get to know this person better. Anyway, Be careful about such questions and go ahead only if you're sure it won't hurt anyone's feelings. Your behavior on the internet forms the general impression people have about you. Don't share too many photos on social media. Yeah, it might seem like you're sociable and open. Still, a recent study proved that people don't really seem to relate well to those who overshare on the internet. But don't go to extremes the other way either. Not sharing at all can be even worse than oversharing. It looks suspicious when someone has either too many or too few people on their friends list. Another study revealed that the perfect amount of likability is about 300 people. People who had under 100 people on their list had a low likability rating, while those who had over 300 were seen as looking for popularity or too focused on social media. Hey, can we talk? Forget 300. If you have even 6 true friends who really know you and love you anyway, that's way better than 300 acquaintances. But that's just my opinion. Alright, back to the party. When you talk with someone and get a dissatisfactory answer, try looking them in the eye. This way, many people start feeling something's wrong, which might possibly make them change their mind. Nope, it doesn't work if you ask a stranger to give you their car as a gift. What were you thinking? Whenever you're having a hot discussion and your opponent just won't agree with you, start speaking faster. This way, they just won't have enough time to process everything, and they'll have to think it over again and probably reconsider their opinion. It works both ways. If a person agrees with you, start speaking slower so that they could evaluate the message properly. Again, speaking fast won't get you a stranger's car for free. What's this about cars? The way you ask people for help is important if you want to make sure you'll get what you need. People like feeling important, so if you say, "I need you," you're more likely to get that help. Rock, paper, scissors is famous for helping people make hard choices. There's only one sure way to win it. Right before the game, ask your opponent a random question like, "Did you know we're all made of pixels?" Your friend will be confused and not likely to throw scissors. Of course, it's what friends do for each other is a magic word combination you should say whenever someone says thank you for something you've done for them. Frankly, please say anything except no problem, which just devalues the kind gesture the person made. Some people tend to forget good things others do for them, but this phrase will make people remember they kind of owe you. Another classic response is, "You're welcome." Hardly hear that one anymore. Reading body language can help you read people's minds. If someone closes their eyes, they're either hiding something or they're just tired of you. Probably both. When a person touches their mouth, it must be because they've just said something they didn't mean to, or they have a cold sore. The way people sit can give them away. Those who lean forward while sitting usually want to make contact and they like the person they're talking with. If a person tends to lean back instead, it shows they're bored and don't really want to talk. Either way, you just found out something about them. You're welcome. Hey, if you're using your phone to watch something and are tired of propping it up and having it fall back down, try using your sunglasses. Simply place them upside down and use the parts that go around your ears to hold the phone in place. You can put old newspaper at the bottom of your trash bags to absorb food juices. This way, when you come to take out the trash, you don't get that gross liquid dripping onto your floor. If you have flowers that are starting to droop, try placing a copper coin in the water. Copper is a natural fungicide, so adding a penny to the water helps protect your flowers from bacteria. This way, your flowers will stay fresh for longer. You can use the spring from an old pen to stop your charger's wire bending and fraying. Just take out the spring and wrap it around the top of the wire near the connector. Moving objects through a door when it keeps closing is super annoying. So instead, tie a rubber band around the handle on each side of the door so that it crosses over the latch. The latch then won't be able to pop out and the door won't lock shut. You can use a paper clip to find the end of your tape. Simply place the clip under the end of the tape and you'll never have to hunt again. To check whether your bed sheets are fully dried, take a mirror and place it underneath. Leave it there for around 5 minutes, and if it steams up, it means the sheets are still damp. A damp bed can be a breeding ground for mold and other nasty fungi. Running a Post-it note over your laptop keyboard will help get rid of the built-up grime and any pesky bits of food. Now wait, you don't actually eat at the computer, do you? Instead of filling your purse or wallet with store loyalty cards, you can take a photo of them. Just take one snap of the barcode as well as a picture of the front so you know which card it is. Then, when you visit the store, just scan the barcode on your phone to collect your points. Forgot to put your drink in the fridge? Wrap a wet paper towel around it and put it in the freezer. In just 15 minutes, your drink will be ice cold. You can paint the end of your keys with different colored nail polish so you can easily identify which key is which. To stop your wrapping paper from unrolling, you can cut open an old toilet paper roll and use it as a cup. In order to pour the perfect amount of oil or salad dressing, poke holes in the foil seal rather than removing it completely. This prevents a big amount rushing out quickly. To prevent Band-Aids from slipping off your finger, cut a line on either side. The Band-Aid, not the finger. This will create 4 smaller sticky strips rather than one large one, and it will be much easier to secure. When your candle is burned down and the wick is difficult to reach with a lighter, you can use a stick of spaghetti. Just light the end and you'll have a longer stick that burns just as well so you can get to those hard-to-reach places. Secure a rubber band over the top of your paint can so that you can wipe excess paint onto it. This stops paint running down the sides of your can and keeps things neat and tidy. If you're struggling to get your taco shells to stay in place, use a muffin tray. Flip the tray upside down, spray it with oil, and place your tortillas in the gap. Cook them for around 10 minutes at 700 degrees for the perfect crispy taco shell. You can use a water bottle to separate egg yolks. Hold the bottle over the yolk and squeeze it to suck the yolk up. Drop it into a separate bowl and you're good to go. Looking for a lost earring or pin on the floor? Place a stocking over the end of your vacuum and move it over the floor. The small object will get picked up without getting vacuumed. Next time you're struggling to clean your ceiling fan, use a pillowcase. Slide the pillowcase over each blade to wipe off the dust. This way, excess dust is caught inside the pillowcase and won't rain down on you. Poke a straw through your cherries to remove the stems. It's much quicker, and this way you don't waste as much fruit. If you're struggling to put a bracelet on your own hand, try using a paper clip. Open up the paper clip and slip it through the loops on the end of your bracelet. Hold the clip in the middle of your hand with your fingers, then flip the bracelet around your wrist. You should then be able to easily clasp it shut. To properly clean your blender, fill it with soap and hot water. Switch it on for around 10 seconds and let the swirling water do the hard work. Then just rinse it off and it's clean. Put down a strip of masking tape before nailing into plaster walls. The tape should stop the plaster from flaking or spreading dust all over the floor. When you're heating up leftovers, make a space in the middle with a spoon. The food will heat up much more evenly. Avoid the mess and frustration of peeling an orange by slicing off one end of the fruit. Then cut 4 to 6 slices and you'll find the peel will come off much easier. If you're struggling to use your butter because it's too cold, try using a cheese grater. Just grate the butter to make your life much easier. You can make a DIY garden sprinkler using an old plastic bottle. Punch some holes all over the bottle and then tape it to the end of your hose pipe. If your shoes smell bad, put a few dry tea bags into the shoe. The tea bags will absorb the smell. Potato chips are a perfect fire starter. The fat, oil, and chemicals inside make them super easy to burn. And yet, we still eat them. Can you see the irony? Try using toothpaste to remove small scratches on furniture. Rub a pea-size amount on the scratch in a circular motion until the scratch buffs out. Then wipe it with a damp cloth and voila! Candle wax that's been spilled on furniture can be removed with ice cubes. Rather than ruining the finish by trying to scrape it off, fill a plastic bag with ice and let it sit on the wax for a few minutes. The wax will then cool and harden, making it much easier to pick off. Drill a couple of small holes in the bottom of your trash can to stop the bag getting stuck when you pull it down. The holes stop the vacuum-like effect that keeps the bag pinned down. Crayon marks on the wall are a parent's nightmare, but you can use a hairdryer to get them off. Heat the marks for a few seconds to soften the wax, and then you should be able to just wipe it away. If you don't have the correct size coin to put in your shopping cart next time you go to the supermarket, you can use your key instead. If you have a key with a rounded end, you can insert that where the coin would go and the cart should unlock. You can easily remove the sticky residue from jars using cooking oil. Soak a cotton pad in some oil, then rub it on the sticky area. Allow it to sit for a few minutes, then it should wipe away easily. Attach a clothespin just under the head of your toothbrush to stop it from falling onto the dirty countertop. Maybe you should also clean your dirty countertop. To stop heavy flower pots from damaging your surfaces, stick furniture sliders to the bottom of the pot. You can use hair conditioner to make that new wool sweater less itchy. Just soak it in lukewarm water with a couple of tablespoons of conditioner and leave it for 15 minutes. Then just dry it and your sweater will be much softer. You can even wear it while you clean your dirty countertop.
The snooze button seems like a remedy for a bad morning, allowing you to give yourself some time to nestle up in your cozy bed for a couple of minutes. Don't get into that trap. This trick only makes you groggier and grumpier. The snooze button makes your body believe you're going to sleep some more, so it obviously enters another sleep cycle. This way, it starts releasing sleep hormones that won't make you feel any peppier. If you get out of your bed right after the alarm goes off, your doziness won't last over 30 minutes. Instead, getting up after even a short lie-in gets you 4 hours of sleepiness. Not a fresh start. To make this groggy morning even worse, check your phone while enjoying those fake 10 minutes of a snooze. Don't lie to yourself that you do it just to keep abreast of the latest news. You must be checking social media instead. Scientists say this habit increases stress and anxiety. Plus, tons of notifications might make you feel like you missed out on some important things yesterday, which subconsciously makes you feel bad and doesn't add to your productivity. A shower instead can work wonders for those who struggle through mornings. But taking a shower every single day can be bad too. An everyday shower didn't appear long ago. With the rise of built-in showers of the 20th century, people took the privilege of lathering their bodies with soap. A daily shower with aggressive soaps washes down the drain all the body oils that keep harmful bacteria away. Many dermatologists say 2 or 3 showers a week are enough for our bodies to stay sanitary and healthy. Bonus advice: 3 minutes are enough. No need to spend half an hour under a cascade of steaming water. Off to something you gotta do at least twice a day. If you brush your teeth after breakfast, sorry, you're doing it wrong. The thing is, nasty bacteria gather in your mouth overnight, and if you have breakfast before you brush your teeth, you share all those morning sugars and carbs with them. When they thrive, your teeth aren't happy. If you just can't resist the temptation to grab a cup of coffee right after you wake up, wait 20 to 30 minutes after you've finished. Many foods and drinks weaken the surface of our teeth, and brushing can make it even worse. It's best to brush your teeth first, and then enjoy whatever you enjoy for breakfast. No need to brush them again after you finish the meal. Just rinse your mouth with water. Coffee before 9 a.m. is a no-go. Cortisol, the stress hormone, doesn't really get on well with the liquid happiness, aka coffee. This hormone isn't only responsible for stress, but for sleep cycles too. Its levels spike between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. coffee only adds to anxiety at this time, so it's best to grab one when the cortisol level is at its lowest. Cortisol also spikes between noon and 1 p.m. and between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. Try to stay away from coffee during these periods. Plus, cortisol always increases by up to 50% right after you wake up, so you'll have to wait about an hour after you start a new day before gulping down that liquid bliss. Most people feel tired twice a day, at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. But since humans are the only mammals who can delay their sleep deliberately, most of us never have a midday nap at 2 p.m., the perfect time to grab some coffee. If you still want to doze off for a couple of hours, be careful. Make sure you have it no later than at 5 p.m., or you'll find it really difficult to fall asleep that night. Don't forget to open the blinds. Morning daylight helps us release cortisol naturally, so we're ready to start a new day. A morning workout is a great way to charge your batteries, as long as it's kind of soft. Aggressive movements can harm our spinal discs that absorb water overnight to rehydrate. By the way, it explains why we're somewhat taller in the morning. This process stiffens our spine, so flexing and bending too much might be a bit dangerous. Workouts aren't the only way to wind your body up. Meditation is an awesome alternative. If you don't feel like doing anything of this kind, try coloring or some other activity that releases stress. Taking time to relax is the key point. There are many foods you should stay away from in the morning, even though they seem like breakfast classics. Toaster pastries are packed with carbs and sugar. So are nut spreads and breakfast cereals. Such food as waffles, pancakes, and buns made of refined flour have very little nutritional value. Fruit juice, despite its healthy reputation, is usually just some sweet water. Plus, it doesn't make you feel full, unlike real fruit. Another bad guy in disguise is a granola bar, which only boosts your cholesterol level. In fact, there's not much difference between a candy bar and a granola one. Make sure your breakfast contains proteins. Carbs usually mean energy crash a couple of hours later. It leads to blood sugar crash, which is bad for your productivity and makes you feel sleepy, tired, and grumpy. Banana protein smoothie, scramble, or quinoa are good examples of long-lasting energy food to keep you focused for several hours. Making your bed right after you wake up isn't right too. When you do it, you also make a cozy home for tiny dust mites. Your pillow, blanket, and sheets seem clean and okay, but these little guys thrive just inside. They love dark spaces like your mattress. Bad news, you can't see them without a microscope. But even if you don't see them, it doesn't mean they don't chill out in your bed. So, if you cover them up while making the bed in the morning, they're going to be kind of grateful for creating an idyllic environment for them. One thing they're terrified of is sunlight. Now you've got a perfect excuse not to make your bed if you're too lazy. A good morning starts with a good night's sleep. If you crave sweets before you go to bed, it's for a reason. Chocolate soothes and calms down, so it's easier to fall asleep faster. Watch out for caffeine. Even chocolate has some small amounts of caffeine, but it can be enough to disturb your sleep. Anyway, it's better to avoid food at least 1 hour before you go to sleep. Hearty meals will be too heavy for any digestive system in the evening. Evening food should be light. It might be some snacks, milk, or cheese. Eating breakfast for dinner is really helpful for those who want to fall asleep faster. Bananas, eggs, and toasts are all rich in potassium, protein, and carbs. All these elements can help relax and aid sleep. So consider having a brinner if you've had hard times falling asleep. Check the temperature in your bedroom. When it's too hot, it may be really hard to fall asleep. Stick 1 foot from under the cover and let it cool. When it's a bit cold, you'll fall asleep faster. Another trick you may try is to cover yourself with a wet blanket, but this one is valid for tropical heat nights only. Also, if you take a hot shower first and then go to a probably much cooler bedroom, your body temperature will significantly drop. You'll fall asleep as soon as your head touches the pillow. Make sure your pillow is neither too high nor too low. If you like sleeping on your stomach, you may want to try putting your pillow right under your stomach to make it more comfortable. The best pillowcases are made of silk. Your face literally glides on it, so it won't get wrinkled in the morning. Hair doesn't rub against silk either, so it won't get messy. Not all pillows guarantee sweet dreams. Some of them make you sleep in an unnatural position and don't support your head. The pillow itself isn't that likely to cause backache, but it can possibly worsen some of the old conditions. Without a pillow, you'll sleep in a more natural position, and you'll probably feel better in the morning. If you find it almost impossible to fall asleep, you're probably not tired. If you fail to fall asleep after 20 minutes, you should probably get up and do something relaxing. Some nice calming ambient music will do.
Store your cotton buds in a toothpick bottle. This type of packaging usually has a dispenser in the lid. It will allow you to pull out one cotton bud at a time, and you can be sure the remaining supply of your hygiene items is protected from dirt and water. Pretty handy, especially on the road. A toothpick container is also a great storage solution for glitter. Let's say you're going to a music festival. Put your glitter in the bottle and pour the needed amount through the small holes in the lid when you need it, and the rest of the time, the lid will protect your bag from spills. If you don't trust the design of your toothpick container, use some tape to secure the lid to the bottom part before you go. The ring holder on your phone case makes it easy to use your device with one hand. You can send texts, take selfies, and watch videos while lying on your sofa. But it turns out that ring holders can also help with cooking. Remove the ring and attach it to a standard metal jar lid. Place the lid vertically on the food you're currently slicing and hold it this way. Your fingers will be protected from accidents, and the slices will be evenly sized. Tea candles usually come in small aluminum cups. When the wax burns out, you can take 2 cups and make a tiny box for storing small items, such as pushpins, jewelry, paper clips, and so on. First, remove the remaining wax. Clean the cups and make 2 small triangle folds opposite each other. This will make the diameter of the bottom cup slightly smaller than that of the top one. This top cup will serve as a lid. You can also use a small piece of tape to secure it to the bottom part. When you're going on vacation, you can store mini soap, picnic spices, vitamin pills, and earplugs in such boxes. Don't forget to mark them with a permanent marker or stickers to avoid confusion on the way. A plastic toothbrush container makes a great travel box for small jewelry or memory cards. No need to spend tons of money on a fancy phone holder. Fold the temples of your sunglasses this way and put them on a flat horizontal surface. Now you can put your phone inside the emergency holder and shoot your TikToks right away. If you have an empty Tic Tac container at hand, this phone holder idea is for you. Cut the box into equal vertical parts, like this. Prepare a piece of cardboard slightly larger than your phone. Glue the Tic Tac halves to the cardboard so that your phone fits perfectly in the middle of this construction. Voila! Also, feel free to make the same holder for your tablet. But make sure that your gadget isn't too heavy for this construction. Here's another budget idea. Don't rush to throw away an empty tape roll. Use a ruler to mark 2 points on the opposite sides of the roll. Then, cut out 2 small inches that will hold your phone. Perfect balance and almost zero waste. Cut used plastic straws into small rings. Put 2 to 3 tablespoons of this stuff on a clean sheet of paper. Then place a sheet of paper on top of it and iron the whole thing. The rings will stick together into a single piece of plastic. Cut out an even circle and you can use it as a coaster for glasses and mugs. Use a meat beater to decorate your cookies. Place equal balls of dough on a baking tray. Now press them down with your favorite side of the beater. You can dip the beater in cinnamon before doing this to add flavor to your cookies. After baking, you'll get a pattern that can be covered with cream or honey. A simple plastic bottle cap can make a great emergency soap tray. Butter from the fridge is usually too hard and cold to use right away. There's a way to speed up the process. Fill a large mug with hot water. and wait until the material it's made of heats up. Then pour the water out and cover the butter with the mug. The surface of the butter will melt, and you'll be able to spread it on your toast with no problem. And if you need to soften the entire piece for baking, cut the butter into small pieces and hold them under the hot mug for a bit longer. You can reuse a plastic lid of wet wipes. Remove it from the package and stick it to the hard cover of a sketchbook or a notepad. Now you have a pocket to store small stationery. Or you can secure 2 plastic lids together and get a comfy travel box for pills, earplugs, and other small objects. If you have a lot of old Lego pieces that you don't use, don't throw them away. Build a fancy birdhouse or a colorful pot for home plants. You don't need to use a single nail to build this storage system. Use double-sided tape or glue to stick a flat Lego panel on the wall next to your entrance door. Add this specific Lego piece to every keychain that belongs to you and your roommates. Now you can store all your keys in one place. Lego also makes a great book holder or a stand for mugs and candles. Have you run out of picture frames? No problem. Use 2 large clothespins as a stand. Attach them to the bottom edges of your image, and a creative picture frame is ready. You can make it more stable by gluing the photo to a piece of cardboard. You can also use the same construction as a napkin holder when you're dining outdoors. Remove the dispenser from your dishwashing gel or facial toner. Wash it very thoroughly. Now you can use it in the kitchen to squeeze ketchup and other sauces from the bottom of a bottle. Also, this device is handy when you decorate pastries with cream patterns. If you need an emergency dog bed, take a clean tire and put it in a large pillowcase. Add some toys and pillows. There you are. If you don't have any tires, a life buoy will also work. Here's an easy way to stay warm and cozy on a frosty night. Fill several plastic bottles with hot water. You don't need to boil it. Hot tap water is fine. Make sure the bottles are closed properly and put them on your bed under the blanket. They'll heat up the mattress very soon. You can put socks on the bottles to not burn your skin. And if it's extremely cold, fill a large canister with hot water, wrap it in a wool sweater, and hug it. Sweet dreams! Want to know the best way to peel garlic? Put separated garlic heads in a saucepan and cover it with another saucepan. Now shake the entire construction vigorously, and the peel will fly off by itself. Don't rush to spoil your delicate cheesecake with an ordinary knife. Take a piece of dental floss, wrap its ends around your fingers, and cut your precious dessert without ruining its structure. This trick is also good for cutting Jell-O, tiramisu, and soft cheese. And here's a brand new butter cutting technique we should all adopt. Use a large knife to make such stars on the surface of your butter. This will make it way easier to cut the product into smaller pieces because this way, the butter will melt faster. And these triangular-shaped pieces of butter will be perfect for your toast. Here's another recipe for space lovers. To liven your breakfast up, arrange 2½ sausages into a star and use toothpicks to help them keep the needed shape. Break a few eggs into the middle of the star and fry this with the lid on until it's ready. Bon appetit! Use a potato or vegetable peeler to cut hard cheese. It seems that they're meant to be together.
Did you know that every 15 seconds a home burglary occurs in the United States? This means that approximately 4,800 burglaries happen every day, and the police can only solve 13% of all the reported cases. So yeah, home security is nothing to be joked about, and so I won't. But still, don't worry. It's not like you need to turn your house into a fortress to feel safe. There are a great number of things you can do to keep the bad people out of your house and keep your valuables safe without breaking the bank. First things first, homes without a security system are 300% more likely to be broken into and burglarized, so you should definitely consider setting up one. However, there are many different types of security systems out there. That's why it can get overwhelming to choose the best one for your specific needs, desired level of protection, and budget. Yet again, it all comes down to two options: professional installations and DIY installations. Let's go through both of them together. Professional installed systems require professional monitoring and usually have contracts that are likely long-term. Professional systems come with fees. However, companies usually require lower upfront equipment costs since they will spread the cost throughout the course of your contract. Once you decide on a professional installation, the company will first schedule an appointment with one of their experienced technicians who can conduct a security assessment and explain all your options to you. And as long as your contract is valid, you can report any problems you have with the system to them so they can make sure the equipment works correctly. All in all, you should pick professionally installed security systems if you want to put up your feet and relax instead of watching long hours of tutorial videos or reading pages of manuals. Still, professionally installed security systems may not work for you, especially if you're a renter, due to the contract commitment conditions. Or maybe you're not a renter, but you simply have budget limitations. That's where DIY installations come in handy. The greatest thing about DIY systems is that while the average monitoring price is around $50 per month on professionally installed systems, it is around $28 a month on DIY ones. Plus, there are no installation fees with DIY systems either. Yet again, you should expect higher upfront equipment costs if you're going to pick this option. And there's also the fact that DIY home security systems come with the risks of improper equipment placement and missing security vulnerabilities a pro would catch. At the end of the day, the most important thing you need to do before choosing a system is evaluate the needs of your neighborhood as well as your house. Did you know that 34% of burglars simply use the front door when breaking into a home? That means if your door is not strong and secure enough, you're basically inviting the burglars in. So, setting up security systems is not enough. You need to inspect all your exterior doors too. Make sure the door frames are strong and the hinges are protected. You can always use door reinforcement kits to add extra protection. If your door has a mail slot, don't forget to check if it's possible for someone to reach through it to unlock the door. When moving into a house or an apartment that was previously occupied by someone else, change the door locks. This is the easiest way to ensure that no stranger can just walk into your house using the keys. One other way to boost security for your door is to use wireless doorbell cameras. This one from Amazon is extremely user-friendly. It's 100% wireless, it has a built-in rechargeable battery that can last 1 to 2 months, so you won't have to charge those too often. You can track the battery situation from the phone app. It also has motion detection technology and super night vision, and you don't need to worry about the weather conditions because it's also waterproof. By the way, don't forget about the sliding glass doors. You can use a window bar or dowel in the track to keep them from being forced open. Or you can add a door sensor or glass break sensor to get alerted if and when someone is tampering with them. We're getting into the very basics of home security now. The percentage of burglars entering a home through a window is as high as 23%. The main reason for that is because most of the time, people forget to lock their windows. Yet again, burglars can always break the glass. If you don't want that to happen, you can try reinforcing the glass with window security film, adding window bars, or installing window sensors. If none of that is possible, you can also plant prickly bushes under the first floor windows to discourage burglars from choosing your house to break in. Now, what's the difference between an actor and a burglar? Burglars don't like to be in the spotlight. That's why having outdoor lighting is to your advantage. Lights should be placed around your front and backyards, along pathways, and near the garage. To make your outdoor security lights more effective, you can use motion-activated ones. Take this one for example. It's solar-powered, so it'll help you save energy. But that doesn't mean you won't have any light once the clouds cover the sky. It's able to run 4 to 5 nights on rainy days. Also, don't allow the burglars to play hide-and-seek. While trees and shrubs may make your home look more beautiful, they also provide a convenient hiding spot for burglars. That's why you should trim down trees and plants, at least the ones close to your house that could be used for cover. Choose smaller flowers and bushes instead, so that burglars don't have a hiding spot to wait for you to leave your home. The same thing goes for any lock gates, sheds, or other outdoor buildings you have. Make sure those places are locked. Burglars can use stools and ladders to climb in from the windows too, so don't tempt them by leaving one outside. Now this one goes without saying, but I will anyway. Lock the garage. Even if there's no access to your home through there, it's likely that you still have plenty of valuable stuff stored in there that burglars might be interested in. It's also wise to store your garage door opener inside your house rather than leave it in your car. This way, you'll be preventing burglars from easily taking it. If you use a security code to open your garage, then keep it confidential and avoid entering it in front of other people, including neighbors. Some neighbors, well, you just don't know. Installing a driveway alarm will also help secure the garage. Now these days, not just burglars but porch pirates, aka package thieves, are a big problem too. Last year, almost 1 in 7 Americans fell victim to them. This is where security cameras prove to be useful. First of all, they work as a deterrent, and secondly, if someone were to really steal your package, you'd be able to identify them thanks to the security footage. If you can't spare some money to get a good security camera for the time being, you can opt for a fake one. They're a lot cheaper, and they will help make your home look more secure than it actually is. This one is worth considering if you're searching the market. It contains a flashing light which makes it look as realistic as it gets. Now last but not least, having a safe wouldn't hurt. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be one of those uncrackable giant titanium ones in the heist movies, like Ocean's 23. Burglars may still be able to break into your house despite all the precautions. So you still need to make sure your valuables are protected at all times. You can hide all things important from your expensive jewelry to your vital documents in there just to be extra safe. If you're going to get yourself one, make sure it is fire-resistant, waterproof, and heavy enough that a thief can't pick it up and walk away with it. As they say, better safe than sorry.
You turn on the faucet in the kitchen sink when suddenly you hear a loud creak from below. Alarmed, you quickly turn off the water, but the creak repeats, this time from somewhere to your left. You tiptoe to the door, careful not to make a sound, when the entire house starts shaking and groaning. Terrified, you run outside, and just as you turn around in your front yard, you see your lovely home fall apart. You walk to the pile of debris that used to be your house and inspect it to find out what could have happened. And then you see it, a giant swarm of insects flying over the crumbling remains. And you remember, you've seen them in and out of your home for years, but didn't pay attention. If you had, you would have known that they were flying carpenter ants, and your house had been in danger for a long time. Carpenter ants only fly for a short period of time in late spring or early summer, when the weather conditions are good enough. It's their mating season. At this time, they fly in swarms around the house and are most visible. During the rest of the year, they behave almost like normal ants, hiding inside the holes and nooks of the house. And I say almost because they do one thing that's harmful to you. They basically eat your home from the inside. Carpenter ants, as the name implies, like wood a lot. Moist or rotting wood is their first choice. It's easier to chew through to make their tunnels. But if they encounter a good and sturdy piece of wood, they won't stop either. It'll just hold them for a bit longer. As the tunnel system grows, more ants appear from the eggs their queen lays her entire life. And after a few years, the colony consists of thousands, if not millions, of ants, while your house looks like a piece of cheese, with you none the wiser. When the flying ants appear, it's a sign that the colony has already grown to an enormous size, and your home is in grave danger. Most likely, there's a whole ant palace underneath your house, and within all its wooden parts, from walls to the roof. Just a few years more, and the structural damage will become too much, leading to disaster. So if you see swarms of flying insects inside your home, call pest control immediately. The bullet ant is the largest of all the ant species. Still, despite being the biggest, they grow to no larger than the size of a penny. The bullet ant is most likely to be found in countries such as Nicaragua and Paraguay, deep within the rainforests. It might be small, but it has a big bite. The bite of a bullet ant is up to 30 times more painful than the sting of a wasp or a bee. Locals sometimes refer to the small insect as the 24-hour ant because you'll experience an entire day of discomfort after their bite. Despite the unpleasant feeling, the bite of a bullet ant isn't too dangerous and should heal within a week. These ants have a peculiar habit that might make it easy to avoid their powerful bite. Bullet ants release a strong and disgusting stench to drive away predators. So, if you ever find yourself trekking through the rainforest and smell an intensely unpleasant odor, run. There are just shy of 300 different species of fire ants all across the world. All the species have the same powerful bite. They're tiny insects who travel in large colonies and have a distinct light brown color, almost red. Fire ants are most commonly found in the United States and are attracted to food. They tend to crash a lot of picnics that they're not invited to. Fire ant bites are incredibly itchy, but not very dangerous. Running the bites under some cold water should help to soothe the itchiness, and the bite should go away in a week or so. If you have a more severe reaction than itchiness, make sure to seek urgent advice from your doctor. Now, velvet ants aren't ants at all. They're a kind of wingless wasp that just looks a lot like ants. These bugs don't form large colonies and usually live alone, hiding in tall grass. This behavior has given them another nickname, cow ants, because when a cow is grazing nearby, it might step on a velvet ant and get a painful bite in return. Humans also get bitten sometimes, especially if they walk barefoot. Velvet ants are venomous, but their venom is less potent than that of bees, so it's not really dangerous. Still, the pain from such a bite is serious, and if you want to squash this bug, good luck. They have an unusually tough carapace that protects them from other stinging insects and even birds. Termites are the scare of all things wooden, and of ants too. When ants encroach on their territory, termites go out of their notorious mounds and give back more than they receive. The insects are basically blind, but their heads are equipped with natural spitfire. They spit acid at their foes, driving them away quicker than they got there. Don't even think of getting your fingers in the way of that acidic stream. It's a really unpleasant feeling. Speaking of spitting, bombardier beetles are the best at that. The look of this bug is menacing enough itself, but when it feels threatened, it will give out a loud pop and spray the enemy with boiling hot liquid. There's a chamber inside the bug's belly that keeps two substances for that. When they mix before spraying, they react with each other and quickly get really hot. Even birds are in big trouble if they get into the beetle's way, and other insects simply have no chance against it. Tarantula hawks are long, thin insects with beautiful rust-colored wings and yellow antennae. They tend to be found in rainforests across Asia, America, and Africa. They like to live alone and make their homes by burrowing into the ground. If you ever come across a tarantula hawk, be sure to move away very slowly. These insects only attack if they sense a threat. Tarantula hawks are thought to have one of the most painful stings in the world. The pain of the tarantula hawk sting is incredibly intense and lasts for 3 to 4 minutes. After these minutes have passed, the sting won't require any urgent care and should heal on its own. The yellow jacket is a dangerous species of wasp that can be found all over the world. They're named for their distinctive yellow and black patterns. The yellow is a striking neon color, much brighter than a normal wasp. Yellow jackets live in large colonies and build their nests in trees, bushes, and even underground. If you come across a yellow jacket nest, move away slowly and be careful not to threaten or irritate the wasps. The sting of a yellow jacket definitely isn't a pleasant feeling. The Japanese hornet is the largest species of hornet in the world. The Japanese hornets have a yellow and black striped pattern, just like the yellow jacket. What makes them distinguishable from bees and wasps is their size and shape. The Japanese hornet is much larger and thinner than a bumblebee, and much longer than a wasp. These hornets, of course, live in Japan, where they travel in colonies of up to 700 members. People who have previously been stung by the Japanese hornet often say it's like being struck by a red-hot poker. If you're ever unfortunate enough to be stung by one of these insects, immediately call for help. And while you wait for the doctors, Wash the sting with cold water. Asian giant hornets live mostly in Asian countries, but they were reported in North America in 2019. These beasts are big, yellow, and vicious. It's impossible to confuse a giant hornet with any other bee or wasp. They are much larger and a lot more aggressive. But the worst thing about them is their stinger, which is more than 3 times longer than that of a honeybee. The stinger contains a really potent venom, and several stings from an Asian giant hornet can bring down even a large animal, and human too. And if that wasn't enough, these creatures can even spray their venom, aiming at the eyes. Needless to say, that's an unforgettable experience. Okay, let's admit it. All centipedes are terrifying, and perhaps one of the most horrible species is a Texas red-headed centipede. First of all, it looks like it's ascended from your deepest, darkest nightmares. A black-sectioned body, dozens of yellowish legs that look more like claws, and a red head with 2 long prongs. That's a picture enough to make me run for it in a split second. Being pretty large, these crawlers have a voracious appetite, munching on toads, lizards, and an occasional rat. Sometimes, when desperate, they can even catch a bat right in the middle of a flight. And of course, red-headed centipedes are venomous, fitting for such an appearance. Luckily, they're not interested in humans, and that's mutual.
Let's crack a burglar's code. Tape on the door handle or a slice of cheese on the car's hood, and many more can be signs that you're being watched by a crook. Burglars don't just pick a house randomly and rob it. They'll often monitor the home before they take action. They want to know more about the house and its security. They leave markings on the home, garage door, post box, or storage unit. Get to know these markings and know what they symbolize, and you'll be able to better protect your home from the bad guys. If you see a circle drawn, that means in the eyes of the thieves, your house is a piece of cake to rob. Maybe it has no home security system set up. Yet, a barred circle means to avoid entry. Maybe the home has high-tech alarms, CCTV cameras, or a dog. Ladder-like lines means there are valuables visible in the home, so there are items in the house worth stealing. If someone sprays the letter M in the garbage, that means empty in the morning, and N refers to empty at night. Police forces have issued warnings about the code, but keep in mind that some of these signs are actually harmless messages used by road workers to communicate about pipelines and so on. If you see some evidence of key bumping, don't enter the house. Key bumping is a technique where burglars use a similar key made with a heavier metal than the pins to file down the pins on the inside of the lock. Plus, victims may encounter some problems while claiming insurance in such cases because this technique may leave no sign of forced entry on the outside of the lock. You're being robbed and you can't prove it to the insurance company. Sounds like a nightmare. Lockpicking is a less forceful technique. This one will leave marks on the doorknob, such as light scratches around the lock, but the real signs will be found on the inside of the lock on the pins. They'll have dents. Heavy scrapes or marks on your doorknob can also indicate that someone has entered your home. Thieves sometimes use screwdrivers to break the pins in the lock. If you see deep scratches, marks, or a widening of the keyhole, be careful when you get inside. Thieves may stick a tape, and it's usually a see-through one, on the door handle. Suppose the tape is still there a day or so later. The squatters believe that the owner is away since the door hasn't been used. This strategy has become alarmingly prominent in Dublin. The police warned people to be vigilant and remove any tape immediately after seeing it. Some of these markings are left by dog thieves, signaling that your home has a money-wise worthy breed to steal. Supposedly, red chalk marks are for large dogs, and yellow and pink marks refer to medium and small dogs. The police advise dog owners to keep their eyes open around their properties and report any such instances to the police. Lastly, pay extra attention when walking their pets. One of the keys to being safe at a house is having good security and knowing your property. For instance, if your front door locks are still responsive but function slowly, it may be a sign of a burglar attempt. This might be because of a tactic called the vulnerability method. Thieves make the door lock weaker with time. They use tools or objects to deteriorate the lock without leaving any traces. You may think your lock is old and simply postpone calling a locksmith, but that would be a huge mistake. Similarly, the key might turn inside the lock with delay. If it's harder to turn inside, this is usually the first sign of an attempted break-in. So, this is probably the most important warning sign you should take into consideration. Even security door locks are vulnerable to break-ins. Did you know that in Churchill, Canada, locals keep their car doors unlocked? They don't do this to invite the thieves, but to survive a potential polar bear attack. The town has the largest number of polar bears in the world. Imagine a resident faced with a polar bear and another person's car is nearby. They can quickly shelter inside that car. How about learning some safety tips to avoid purse snatching? Firstly, don't carry a shoulder bag over your shoulder. I know, it's what the bag is designed for, but this makes it easier for a thief to grab your bag. For example, carrying a small clutch-type handbag underneath your arm is safer. Shopping with someone else is safer than shopping alone. On shopping days, and in general, don't carry more money than you would possibly need for all your credit cards in the same purse. Carry only what you need for the day. You might think, it's just for a sec, but don't leave your purse in shopping carts or on counters. And there's the matter of scams. When you believe you can't be scammed, you might let yourself be more vulnerable to scammers. Scams target everyone from all backgrounds, ages, and incomes. They can catch you off guard and when you're not expecting it, using new technologies, products, or even services to hook you, to either give them your money or personal details. How to be scam-proof? Firstly, keep in mind that if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Secondly, don't respond to calls about your computer asking for remote access, even if they mention a well-known company. Scammers will often ask you to turn on your computer to fix a problem or install a free upgrade. This is actually a virus to get your passwords and personal details. Lastly, pay attention to unusual payment requests. Scammers will often ask you to use an unusual payment method like a preloaded debit card, gift card, or iTunes card. A carjacker and a slice of cheese. What connection can there be? Imagine you walk to your car and see melted cheese on the engine cap. You initially thought that it was probably some kind of a prank, so you begin to clean the cheese. Naturally, it takes ages under the hot sun. Pay attention to your surroundings. Someone might be watching you from a distance and waiting for the right time. They can just jump into your car and run away while you're not looking at the driver's door, busy cleaning the cheese near the passenger side. Did you know that you might have an extra key in your car? Some cars have valet keys hidden under the owner's manual or in the toolkit in the trunk. If your car has that spare pair, take it out immediately. If you know where it is, thieves will know it too. Plus, don't think you have a perfect hiding spot for your spare keys. Car thieves know where to look. For example, some people hide the extra key under the bumper or beneath the floor mat. Thieves routinely check those places as well. Speaking of car theft, now it might be a good time to talk about the habits and strategies of car burglars. They don't really go for wide open and visible locations like in front of houses and driveways. Dark and secluded places such as apartment buildings, carports, and underground parking garages appeal to them because it's quieter. He could hear if somebody was coming. Have you heard of Vehicle Identification Number, aka VIN? This is a unique number for every car out there. You can engrave the VIN on your car windows. This makes your car less valuable on the black market for its parts. Plus, changing the car windows costs quite a lot, so crooks try to avoid such cars. Overall, it's better not to be an inviting, easy target. So, do you have some real-life stories about all these?
Hey there, car owners. Gee, do I have an important message for you? You see, our cars are like our trusty sidekicks, always by our side, even in the most public places. But sometimes we come back to find unexpected surprises waiting for us. Try to imagine yourself strolling up to your four-wheeled companion, and there it is. A flyer, taunting you from under the wiper. Or, heaven forbid, a parking ticket just begging for your attention on the windshield. We've all been there, right? Well, hold on to your steering wheels because authorities have a brand new tip for you. And it's a real gem. If you see something on your car that doesn't belong, don't remove it with your bare hand. Intrigued? You see, police forces have been keeping a watchful eye on all things car-related, and they're not just about catching speedsters and enforcing traffic rules. They've got our backs when it comes to unveiling the latest tricks of the trade. Take Arlington, Virginia, for example. The authorities there recently noticed a spike in driver's side airbag thefts. To combat this madness, the police advised folks to park in well-lit areas, lock their vehicles, stash away their valuables, and why not throw in a steering wheel locking device for good measure? Some car thieves have also discovered a new superpower, using their smartphone cameras to peek into your car. It's like they have X-ray vision or something. These sneaky people can bypass the privacy tint in your car windows and get a clear view of your treasures, all without even taking a photo. Smartphones these days, huh? In response, authorities launched a "Stow It, Don't Show It" campaign, reminding everyone to remove their valuables from sight, or, at the very least, stash them away. But wait, there's more. Officers want us to be extra cautious about a new threat lurking around our vehicles. You know how it goes. Leaves, litter, and leaflets often find their way onto our beloved cars. Usually, we'd think nothing of it and simply give our vehicles a quick clean before zooming off. However, you should think twice before reaching out with your bare hands. Even if it's just to grab a seemingly innocent piece of trash. Why all the fuss, you might wonder? Well, let's take a peek at an incident that unfolded in Houston, Texas. Picture this. One woman, fresh from celebrating her birthday at a local restaurant, heads back to her car, only to find a napkin sticking out of her car door handle. Now, at first, she didn't think much of it, and casually removed the napkin, thinking it's just some random trash. But as it turns out, things then took a crazy turn. Not long after handling that suspiciously placed napkin, she started feeling some tingling in her fingertips, and before she knew it, her whole arm joins the tingle party, leaving her feeling a bit numb. She got all lightheaded and even struggled to breathe. Being a responsible person, her husband dialed up 911 in a jiffy. Off she went to the hospital, racing against time to figure out what in the world caused this bizarre health roller coaster. After a seemingly eternal 6.5 hours, the doctors finally diagnosed her with acute poisoning from an unknown substance. They couldn't pinpoint the exact nature of the substance because the woman only had a tiny amount in her system. But even that tiny amount was enough to make her feel like she just hopped on the wildest ride at the amusement park. Just imagine if she had wrapped that napkin around her entire hand. Yikes! One of her doctors suggested that this whole napkin incident might have been an attempted kidnapping targeting her car. Wait, what? A kidnapping involving a napkin and a car door? It's like a bad script for a low-budget comedy film. But here's where things get really intriguing. The local police department, in their noble quest to solve this mystery, revealed that they didn't receive any reports of similar incidents involving car doors and napkins. I guess that prankster genius didn't strike again, or at least not yet. However, they do confirm that the woman's experience and symptoms align with other cases of poisoning. Of course, there are many other strategies to help keep both you and your car safe. Like when it comes to parking, it's all about that prime spot. Thankfully, specialists have some tips that will make your parking game strong and keep those pesky thieves at bay. First things first, if you're lucky enough to have a garage, park your precious vehicle in there at all times. But if you're out and about, it's advised that you find a well-lit and open area to park. You want your ride to be in the spotlight, not hiding in the shadows where mischief could be lurking. Now, here's a nifty little nugget of advice straight from the mouth of an ex-burglar. This guy knows the tricks of the trade. When you park, turn those wheels into the curb. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it's worth it. By doing this, you're making life harder for those pesky intruders. They'll have to do some fancy maneuvering just to get away, and ain't nobody got time for that. And hey, here's an extra bonus tip for you. Try to find a car park that has reached the Parkmark standard. These parking locations have passed a police risk assessment, so you know they're legit. With these simple tips, you'll be parking like a pro in no time. These days, there's still a sneaky way thieves can get their hands on your ride, and it involves your beloved key. So, let's play it safe, shall we? First things first, keep those keys hidden away. When you're home, make sure they're out of sight and far from prying eyes. You wouldn't want any thieves playing fishing games with sticks and hooks through your letterbox, snatching your keys. Now let's talk about keyless entry. You know, those fancy cars that unlock themselves with a wave of the key nearby? Well, if you have to push a button on your key to open your car, you don't have a keyless entry. No worries, though. We'll cover that too. Picture this. You're going about your day, minding your own business, when suddenly a crafty thief comes along with a little device. This sneaky gadget tricks your car into thinking your key is right there, unlocking it faster than you can imagine. They can even start the engine and drive off into the sunset with your beloved vehicle. Believe it or not, these pesky thieves only need to be a few meters away from your car key to capture its signal. That means they can work their magic even if your key is chilling inside your home, safe and sound. Fear not, because there are a few tips to keep your keyless entry car as secure as a fortress. When you're at home, keep that precious key and its spare far, far away from your vehicle. Maybe put them in a screened pouch or a fancy schmancy Faraday bag to block any signals from escaping. Think of it as giving your key a cozy little invisible shield to protect it from those sneaky signal-sniffing thieves. Here's another pro tip. If you ever decide to adopt a second-hand car into your loving car family, give those keys a little makeover. Reprogramming them will ensure that any old signals or sneaky surprises from the previous owner are wiped clean. To make sure your car is always safe, we also need to cover this not-so-fun subject: illegal tow trucks. Those sneaky thieves think they can snatch your precious wheels right off the street. Here are some tips on how to stay one step ahead of these parking lot pirates. First things first, keep an eye out for any tow-away crew that seems a bit fishy. You know, the ones who aren't sporting any fancy logos on their truck or who forgot to put on their snazzy uniforms. If something feels off, don't hesitate to report them pronto. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if I'm wrong and it turns out to be a false alarm? We all should be about good faith, and nobody should blame you for a moment if it turns out to be a false alarm. Better safe than sorry, right?
You can turn ordinary matches into waterproof ones. Apply a thin coat of nail polish to the matches and let it dry. Once they're ready, they'll stay dry enough to start a fire even if you drop the matches in the water. If you get lost somewhere during the winter and need a drink, then don't eat snow. It has much more air than water, so you won't even feel much more hydrated. Your body also wastes a lot of energy trying to eat it. Even worse, you might lower your body temperature and could even get sick. If you find yourself face to face with a coyote or a wolf, don't turn your back. Slowly retreat while facing the animal. This might only work for a single animal, though. If you meet a pack, then the most important thing is to make sure that they don't surround you. Back away towards a tree and press your back against it. Then choose the right moment and climb it as quickly as possible. Several layers of clothing will warm you better than one warm fur coat or down jacket. Air will be trapped between the clothing layers, insulating you and keeping your body warm. If you get lost in the woods, always try to sleep a little above the ground. You can lay on a layer of branches and leaves as a makeshift bed, or stretch a hammock out between some trees. At night, the temperature drops and the ground becomes cold. Even if you build a fire, it could go out while you sleep, and the ground will be sapping your body heat. You're in a boat in the middle of the sea, no food, no fishing net, and you're hungry. It was supposed to be only a 3-hour tour. Well, guess what? You can catch fish with the help of shoelaces and any object – phone, watch, or keys. The shadow cast by the boat in the sea can attract fish, and a reflective object can work as bait. Tie your keys to your shoelaces and use them as a fishing rod. Even if a fish doesn't bite, activities like this are a good way to maintain a healthy mind on the open sea. A short meditation can save you from a panic attack. You need to focus on your breathing and try to slow it down. Your brain will quickly calm down and turn its focus away from the panic. Oxygen masks in airplanes work on the same principle. When you control your breathing, your attention is redirected away from whatever bad thing is happening. You can make a torch out of a log. Put a small log vertically, make a deep star-shaped cut on the top. Put dry grass, leaves, and sticks inside. Once you're done, set fire to the log and watch it burn for up to 3 hours. This should work the same regardless of the size and type of wood. Now, if you meet an angry grizzly bear, never try to run away because the bear can easily outrun you. Instead, lie down and don't move. Grizzlies only usually attack when they see a threat, so they'll often leave you alone if you show them that you won't cause them any problems. This only works with grizzly bears, though. If a confrontation is unavoidable, back away slowly and use bear spray. If you don't have any, pepper spray will work similarly and should disorient the bear and scare it away. Or not. Don't eat berries or mushrooms in the forest if you don't know exactly what they are. They could be poisonous. If you have no other option, eat the inner bark of maples, birches, and pines to fill your stomach. Use a knife to cut away the rough outer bark and get to the softer white stuff. You can boil it to make it even softer, or cook it over an open fire to make a crunchy snack. And if you're really starving, you can look for ants. They might not be the most appetizing, but they're pretty nutritious. If you don't have a watch, you can use your fingers to find out how much time is left until sunset. Raise your hand so the inside of your palm is facing you. Your fingers should be between the sun and the horizon line. See how many fingers can fit in this space. The thickness of one finger equals about 15 minutes, so you can calculate the time left before sunset. If you're lost and need to build a fire to attract attention, throw in a lot of pine, cedar branches, cones, and any unnecessary rubber objects. Your fire will emit more black smoke, which makes it visible from afar. If you have no water in the desert but have some food, try to avoid eating for as long as you can. The more you eat, the more thirsty you'll get. The body needs liquid to digest food, so it'll use up what little you have. A person can live much longer without food than without water, so don't be afraid to stay hungry. Hey, you found a huge puddle of dirty water in the forest. If you're desperate for a drink, you can fill your bottle and filter it into drinking water. To clean it, make a rope of gauze or clothing. Put one end into the dirty bottle and the other one into the empty one. Before long, the clean water will flow into the empty bottle through the rope, while the impurities are left behind. Before hiking, replace your regular shoelaces with paracord shoelaces. If you don't have enough rope, these laces can give you a few extra feet in a pinch. If you're lost in the forest and have nothing to warm you, then take dry leaves and grass from the ground and put it between 2 layers of clothing. This will help you stay warm for a long time. When you're lost in the desert, try to move as little as possible during the day. Find a shadow or create it from improvised materials and sit in the shade until dark. At night, you'll spend much less energy and use up less fluid while you walk. This will help you to avoid the risk of a heat stroke. If you fall through some ice, don't try to get out like you would in a pool. If you put your hands on the ice and try to push yourself out with your arms, it could crack and make you fall back into the water. You need to stretch your arms parallel to the ice surface and stretch your legs way back so they float in the water. In this horizontal position, start waving your legs as if you're swimming. Move your arms carefully without putting too much weight on the ice, and you should be able to escape. If you need to build a fire while it's too windy, here's what to do. Dig 2 holes next to each other and create a small underground tunnel between them. Make a fire in one of the pits. The wind can't extinguish it, and the fire gets its air through the second pit. This method is also useful if you need to build a fire without drawing attention. In the dark, this kind of fire won't be visible. Don't throw away or pop bubble wrap. Take it on a hike with you. It will protect you from the cold better than even a thick blanket would. Those tiny air bubbles are perfect insulation. Just put it in between layers of clothing, and it'll stop any warmth from escaping. The plastic it's made of is also waterproof, so it can stop you from getting wet too. Swimming in the sea not far from the shore, you can easily get swept up in rip currents. If this happens, the most important thing to remember is not to swim against the current. This will only waste your strength and sap your energy, and you're unlikely to ever overpower an ocean current. Instead, try to swim sideways along the shore. Sooner or later, you should get out of the current, and then you can safely swim to the beach. If you're stuck in a falling elevator, don't try to jump at the moment of collision. Don't take a sitting position or stand either. You need to lie on the floor, facing the ceiling. Spread your legs as wide as possible, cover your face with one hand, and put the other hand behind your head for protection. You reduce the pressure on your body in this position when you fall. Ooh, you're lost. a rescue helicopter flies over the forest, but you don't have a flare and don't have time to build a fire. Use a small mirror or phone screen to reflect the sunlight. Aim the light beam towards the helicopter. Rescuers should notice the glare and fly over to save you. Now, if you're falling from a great height, try to copy a skydiver's position. Your head and chest should face down. Spread your arms and legs and bend them at a 90-degree angle. If possible, choose a place to land. Bushes or haystacks can cushion your fall. Water surface is only safe if you fall from a height of no more than 150 feet. Before landing, try to position your body vertically. Remember that it's always better to fall forward than backward. Protect your head and neck with your arms locked together. Actually, none of this will save you, but it will give you something to do before they name the crater after you. Now, if you're plummeting from a cliff, do your best to break your fall down into several parts. The shorter they are, the better. Each of these parts will absorb some impact of the fall. This way you'll have much higher chances of surviving. Try to grab onto a sturdy object, like a bush or a rock on your way to the bottom. It'll slow you down. If you see a piece of wood or a plank, snatch it too. It might help to soften your fall when you hit the ground. Most importantly, don't hold your body stiff. This is likely to harm your internal organs. Cover your head and try to land on your feet with your knees slightly bent. In fact, once you hit, everything about you will be slightly bent. But hey, you gotta try. If a building you were in collapsed and you ended up under a pile of debris and rubble, try to keep your panic at bay. Yeah. Your main task now is to protect your breathing organs and make your air supply last as long as possible. If there's enough space, take off your shirt or t-shirt and tie its bottom in a knot. Then put it back on your head through the neck hole so that the knot is on top of your head. You'll get a makeshift hood that will protect your face from dust, sand, and debris. It will also provide you with a bit of oxygen while you're trying to get back to the surface. If you're stuck in a falling elevator, lie down on your back and try to occupy as much space as possible. Your body fat and muscles are compressible. They'll absorb some of the impact force. If you can't lie down, sit on the floor. It's still better than standing. Your backside will act like an airbag in a car. But whatever position you choose, cover your head. The best way to do it is to put one arm in front of your face and the other on the back of your neck. If you get stuck in the wilderness, first of all, find some water. Check low-lying areas. If there are mountains, look for water at the foot of the cliffs. If you manage to find some rainwater, don't let it stay in the container too long. It may go bad. Pay attention to ants climbing trees. They're likely to be traveling toward a source of moisture inside a tree. A bottle of water can help you start a fire if you keep it under direct sunlight long enough. The bottle will act as a lens, gathering all the heat in one spot. Use fire and smoke to signal for help. Cover the flames with a big branch or with a pan for 3 to 4 seconds. This will gather enough smoke. Then let this puff of smoke go. Now, if you've fallen through the ice, try to get back to its edge. Don't pull yourself out by grabbing it. The edge will keep breaking, and this will wear you down in no time. Kick your legs until your body is positioned horizontally in the water. After that, get out of the water and onto the ice. Once you've made it there, don't stand up. Your weight should be distributed over a larger area. Then the ice will be less likely to break. Start rolling toward the shore like seals do. If you have a muscle cramp while swimming, try to turn on your back and float this way. Massage the bottom of your foot or the part of your leg that feels tight. If you have a cramp in the back of your leg, bend it at the knee and pull it toward your chest. You should be still floating on your back. Try to relieve the cramp by pulling your toes inward. If you get caught in an indoor fire, stay low and crawl toward the nearest exit. The smoke usually rises toward the ceiling. That's why crouching might keep you from inhaling it. If you have a piece of cloth or a handkerchief, put it against your mouth. It'll act like a filter against the smoke. Fall to the ground and roll back and forth if your clothes have caught fire. If you do have a fire extinguisher, aim it at the base of the flames. It's much more effective. And keep in mind that if you break a window, you'll let in more oxygen, and this will feed the fire. And here's what you should do to stay safe during a natural disaster. If you see the area getting flooded while you're outside, run away from any streams, storm drains, or rivers. Try to get to higher ground. If you're stuck at home, move to the roof if you think it's safe enough. If a tornado is moving towards you and you don't have time to escape, find a ditch or some low place. Lie down and cover your head with your hands or clothes. If a tornado happens while you're inside and there's no basement in your house, hide in a bathtub. Use a pillow to protect your head from any kind of debris that may fall down. The plumbing in the bathroom walls adds structural strength to the place. But if your bathroom has windows or an exterior-facing wall, pick a more secure place, for example, a closet. The more walls separate you from the tornado, the better. If you're outside during a storm and you suddenly feel your hair stand on end, it's your cue lightning is about to strike. Your skin might start tingling, and you're likely to hear some clicking or buzzing sounds. Immediately crouch down and place your head between your knees. But even though you should be as low as possible, do not lie down. The only thing touching the ground should be the balls of your feet. Keep your heels together. This way, instead of running through your entire body, electricity is likely to go in one foot and out the other. You can also cover your ears with your hands to prevent hearing loss. If you're lost in the desert, travel during the early morning hours. This way, you'll be able to avoid most of the heat. If you see a hill or some other high ground, climb it and look around. You might spot some greenery, buildings, or a road. You won't have such an opportunity at night. Many desert animals also hunt after the sunset. And here's how you should act around wild animals. If a bull is charging at you, stand still until it comes close. Then throw a piece of clothing in the opposite direction. Bulls react to movements, and throwing a hat or a shirt away from you will distract the animal. It'll chase the moving object. If a shark is moving towards you, don't swim away in panic. You'll look like something the animal will want to eat. Wait until the shark gets closer and start hitting it with your fists. Aim at its eyes, nose, and gills. These are the only vulnerable areas on the animal's body. If you meet a pack of unfriendly dogs, distract them and move away quietly. If one of the dogs still lunges at you, place some object between yourself and the animal's jaws. Now, let's say you've accidentally disturbed a swarm of bees, and now they are coming after you. Run in a straight line as fast as possible until they stop chasing you. An even better alternative is to find some shelter. It can be your car, a house, or even a public bathroom, and hide inside. Now, if you accidentally meet a bear, introduce yourself. No, wait. Actually, everything will depend on what species it is. If it's a larger brown bear, fall down and pretend you've passed away. Shouldn't be hard. But if it's a smaller black bear, which rarely attacks people, shouting and making yourself look bigger may help. You may also try to scare the bear away by pretending to lunge at it. If you encounter a snake, try to be as quiet as possible. If there's an opportunity to walk away, go for it. But if you can avoid the reptile, raising your voice, banging two sticks together, or stomping your feet might make it retreat. Even though snakes don't have visible ears, they're sensitive to vibrations. And if all of these things happen to you on the same day, call the Guinness people. I think you've set some records. This tree has poisonous bark, leaves, and even seeds. What's worse, those seeds can even explode. Wow. And that's not the kind of experience you want when traveling around tropical America. Meet sandbox tree, a 100-foot giant covered in conical studs. The tree itself looks unique, since the studs look almost like tiny pumpkins. But don't you dare come close and touch them. Just contemplate it from afar. Once the pumpkin-looking studs crack, they set the notorious seeds free. They travel at about 230 feet per second, and those have enough force to injure you. But hey, the sandbox tree is not that mean. It just doesn't want any competition, and that's why it tries so hard to send the seeds as far as it can, which is about 130 feet. So please, stay out of the way. Some trees are so dangerous they even have a warning sign. For example, a manchineel tree. It pretends to be totally innocent, and its fruits look like regular apples. But eating such an apple can be the last thing you do in your life. Well, that sounds serious. Touching this tree isn't safe either. I mean, even looking at that tree can be dangerous. Not kidding. And people can even banish it. Whoever tries to do that gets punished instantly. You try to cut the tree, it replies by squirting blinding ooze right into your eyes. Yeah, this sap can cause temporary blindness, and if it contacts the skin, you'll get burns and blisters. There's only one way to tame that tree. To do that, people first gotta burn the tree at the base and stand far away for sure. Then the fallen tree is left to dry in the sun. Once it's dry, it's safe to use. There are even used-to-be toxic pieces of furniture made of manchineel tree. Hey, pull up a chair. Now, this thing here, scientists call it jatropha fruit, but it's also known as black vomit nut. Ew! If you ever try to eat it, the first thing you'll experience is a burning feeling in the throat. Once it reaches your stomach, you'll have a severe stomachache. The result can be terrible. It can cause severe central nervous system depression, and it's not about being terribly sad. It's a physiological state when the breath rate is affected, the heart rate is decreased, and the person may even lose consciousness, not to mention a more serious aftermath. Ah, look at these heart-shaped leaves. They're so cute. Still, this tree's fruit isn't that cute. Pangium edule is native to Southeast Asia, and its fruit can be eaten, but it requires a lot of preparation. First, you need to grab those brownish clusters that look like pears. These are the fruit. Second, you need to boil the seeds. Yeah, you gotta get to those seeds through the pulp that looks soft, creamy, and possibly edible, but that it's not. Third, you need to either soak them or wrap them in banana leaves for 40 days for the hydrogen cyanide to be released. Yeah, that's great that hydrogen cyanide is slightly water-soluble and can be sort of washed out once the seeds are boiled and fermented. But isn't that too much effort? The thing is, these seeds are usually added to some dishes, so they're more like a spice, not an independent dish. Nope, the hydrogen cyanide thing ruined it for me. Now, some fruits require a lot of additional preparation, while others can be eaten only when 100% ripe. Raw elderberry is rich in vitamin C, which is good for you, and cyanide, which is not that good. These berries are quite popular, though. You can find them in pies, syrups, teas, jams, you name it. Fully ripe and cooked berries aren't dangerous. And nope, these berries aren't banned. National Jamaican fruit ackee has a truly unique taste. It's mild and buttery, and people who tried it say it tastes just like scrambled eggs. Just like with elderberries, it's safe to eat ackee only as long as it's fully ripe. So the importation of raw ackee fruit was banned in the US almost 50 years ago. The only edible part is the white creamy flesh itself. The pink flesh looks mouth-watering, but don't fall for it. It's highly toxic. Same with the black seeds. Well, let's interrupt this for a fun fact. People used to utilize ackee fruit for cleaning clothes, thanks to its laundering properties. Thing is, the fruit capsules have saponins that can create that lather we need for washing. Today, it's not that popular though, and very few people prefer it to manufactured soap. Soursop is one more fruit that doesn't seem to be available in the US. It's also referred to as guanabana and can release dangerous toxins, leading to some very unpleasant consequences if not ripe. Soursop fans, don't be sad. Chances are you might find some frozen pulp in supermarkets. The fruit itself is yummy. It tastes like a mix of pineapple and strawberry. However, this fruit is not FDA approved because of its safety issues. But if you ever eat soursop, remember to avoid the seeds, as they're toxic to us human mammals. Looky here! This is mango. It's safe and delicious. Now look over here. This one kinda looks like mango when it's green, but you certainly don't want to eat it. These fruits grow on a pong-pong tree, and one kernel is enough to finish any human being. But who said we gotta eat them? They can be used for deodorants. However, there are safer antibacterial options out there, so we'd best leave the pong-pong tree alone. Now, arboreally speaking, a tree doesn't necessarily have to be poisonous to be dangerous. The bunya pine, or false monkey puzzle tree, for instance, has extremely giant cones, larger than your head. Imagine the size of the nuts those cones carry. So the only real danger it poses is if a cone accidentally hits your head when falling. For the rest, the bunya pine is cool. If you boil the seeds, you'll get a super flavorsome tea. The nuts are gluten-free, so they can be part of any trendy diet. It's been around for quite some time, ever since the dinos roamed the planet, but now it's almost unique to Queensland, Australia. We all know the dose that makes the poison, right? Milky mangrove is another proof of the saying. It can be extremely useful for medicinal purposes and extremely toxic when used incorrectly. Yeah, it may not only be the dose, but also the science that makes the poison. This tree's sap can cause blisters, burns, and even temporary blindness, just like a manchineel tree. Here's why people also call it a blind-in-your-eye mangrove. Well, that makes sense. The bottle tree is mostly found in Namibia, so when traveling there and feeling thirsty, don't fall for that bottle-looking buddy. It has no water for you. The bottle tree gets its famous shape by the age of between 5 and 8 years and is designed to hold the water for itself. Now, if you dare try it, the consequences are, shall we say, sad. It's highly toxic for humans and animals, but for those toxins contained in the water, the tree would have been left with no moisture at all. Animals would have taken all the water from it. To avoid it, the bottle tree developed a sort of protection mechanism, mostly from animals, and apparently from some humans too, to stay well hydrated. Good advice for everyone. The last, but not the least, Jimpy Jimpy. Now, you probably came across a stinging nettle at least once in your life. The aftermath of the contact with the stinging nettle isn't quite pleasant. Nobody likes rash and burning sensations. Well, it's possible to say that harmless-looking Jimpy Jimpy, which is a distant relative of stinging nettle, has pretty much the same mechanism, but the consequences are different. It can even be fatal. Good news, there's an antidote. Depilatory wax or even sticky tape can help you out. The main problem is the little hairs stuck in the skin, and anything sticky, especially wax or tape, can help remove them. This is a first aid treatment, but it helps a lot.
Leaving your valuables or a chocolate bar in a car is a no-brainer. But there are other things people often overlook. Here's what to watch out for before leaving your car. Number 1 is aerosol cans, hairspray, deodorant, spray paint, household cleaner, and that sort. On the back of these cans, you might notice a storage temperature recommendation. Well, stick to that. Here's what can happen. Since these cans are pressurized, they become more sensitive to temperature. What's inside the aerosol may expand, and this may result in a crack, and then the can blow up. Temperatures above 100 degrees Fahrenheit are already alarming, and it can easily get as hot as that in your car on a warm summer day. Researchers from the USA have figured out how long it takes a car to turn into a sweat factory on a hot day. Within 1 hour, the insides of the car parked in the sun reaches 95 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter, with an average temperature of 116 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if you want your car in one piece and running, take aerosol cans with you. The second item is sunscreen. Sunscreen is vital for your skin since it decreases the risk of skin complications and prevents skin aging caused by the sun. This includes wrinkles, sagging, and age spots. But when you leave sunscreen in your car, it gets exposed to high temperatures, and it can ultimately shorten its shelf life. If you end up finding spoiled sunscreen, you might notice a funny smell when you open the cap. Plus, the heat might cause the cap to open, and the sticky substance will get all over the car. The same rule applies to lipsticks and other cosmetics as well. The next one is plastic bottles. There are 2 reasons why you shouldn't leave them inside your car. Firstly, a plastic water bottle can act as a lens, magnifying the sun's rays and starting a fire. A fire department in Oklahoma conducted an experiment and confirmed that the danger of fire was real. David Richardson from that department says it can happen if the beam of light is focused enough. The second reason is related to your health. Many plastic bottles contain bisphenol, a potentially toxic compound. The BPA levels can increase at high temperatures, and that can be harmful to your body. There's a chance that this chemical can get into your drink after you leave the bottle inside the vehicle. Oh, and batteries. They can lose their capacity to work at full power when they're left abandoned in the car. You can buy a new pair and fix this problem, but it won't be as easy to solve the problem of leakage or a rupture. It can be bad for your health because battery acid is dangerous when inhaled and highly corrosive. The reason for leakage is again related to high temperatures. Battery manufacturers recommend keeping their products at room temperature. This fact is partially related to batteries. It's about electronics. Have you ever realized how hot your phone can get when it's exposed to the sun? You're driving and, let's say, looking at the GPS on your phone. Even in this situation, your phone can heat up. What will happen to it after hours of sun exposure? Phone companies are strongly against customers leaving their devices in vehicles because they might shut down, get damaged, or, boom! Personal belongings are another priority on the list. A wallet or a handbag may come to one's mind first. Yet, a passport or even some change you leave near the passenger seat is sometimes enough to attract a thief. Better to keep such stuff out of sight, for example, by storing it in the trunk instead of leaving it in the back seat. Number 7 is also related to theft. Life can be too hectic sometimes, and it's understandable if you can't clean your car frequently, but leaving garbage in the car is another mistake. Thieves tend to search for messy-looking cars. They think that the owner doesn't use such a vehicle frequently. How about plants? I know it isn't that common to keep plants in the car on a daily basis, but sometimes you need to move them. The heat inside the vehicle can easily dehydrate the poor thing. Medications are another thing you shouldn't keep in the car for too long. The constantly changing temperatures inside the vehicle can decrease the effectiveness of your pills. Authorities recommend keeping most medications at 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit in a cool and dry place. Important documents that contain your personal data shouldn't be left in the vehicle either. Some examples of such documents are tax forms, financial statements, and school transcripts. A thief could commit fraud or identity theft using this valuable information. And there's also food and drinks. Experts recommend not leaving groceries or leftovers in a warm car for more than 2 hours, or only an hour when it's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The same rule applies in the winter too. Canned foods, for example, have a high risk of going bad. If a can of sweet peas, let's say, gets frozen in the car, the effect will be similar to what would happen to soda. Let it thaw in the refrigerator instead of leaving it at room temperature. If the product doesn't look or smell normal, throw it away in a place where not even an animal can find it. Don't try to taste it, just trust your senses. If the item seems rusted or there are some cracks in the can, it should end up in the trash too. Eggs are another example. Normally, eggs shouldn't be frozen. But let's suppose you forgot one grocery bag in the trunk of the car, and the weather was so cold at night that the eggs got frozen. Keep the eggs in the refrigerator before use. They should be hard-cooked. It's your only option. You see, freezing causes the yolk to become thick and syrup-like. It loses that natural flow and doesn't mix well with other ingredients. You shouldn't leave your pets alone in the car, obviously, and not just because of a potential rise in temperature. They will feel uncomfortable without you, their best friend, accompanying them. In their frustration, they might do something to get noticed, which can be, for example, ruining the interior of the vehicle. Now let's return to the winter season again. If possible, keep the gas tank of your car over half full. This can prevent the fuel lines from freezing. It also makes it easier to start the engine and hit the road in the morning. While keeping an eye on the fuel bar, it might be a good idea to glance at the tire pressure too. The cold can result in tire pressure drops. Not only high, but also low temperatures can damage some items. A good example is paint cans. They should be quickly taken out of the vehicle in the winter. The ingredients in the paint can experience expansion, separation, and clumping due to the cold. In other words, you won't be able to use this paint anymore. Weather also affects wooden musical instruments like violins or guitars. Changes in temperature and humidity can cause wooden instruments to warp, crack, or split. Glasses get affected by fluctuating temperatures too. In a hot car, plastic frames can bend. Or plastic can become brittle when it's very cold. This makes glasses prone to breaking. Don't leave house keys and garage door openers inside the car. This is an everyday practice for many people, but it's risky. They can get into the wrong hands. To listen to music, most people connect their phones to the car or listen to the radio. CDs are getting less and less used these days, but don't leave them in the car anyway. They might get warped, and you won't be able to use them anymore. Can you think of any other items you shouldn't leave in the car?
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos.